Tall and stout. Baby girl, if you hold on to the angle, and I'm gonna hold on to the spout. And I gotta see bull, baby, your boy, big best friend. I can't be no dreader than dread. Gotta tell you, baby, that I'm heavy than lead. You say, tell you, well, dread, y'all. Come on down and shake eye. Later, I kinda move you up to the sky, y'all. Get out inside. Can't be wrong, I got to be right until you call and I. Baby, I will tell you no lie. Yeah. Kind of ride him on my pony, you know.
The station that rules the nation. From state to state, country to country.
Best FM.
We play the hits just for you.
You may not be a movie star, you may not drive a big boss car, but I love you in every way. Yeah. I love you in every way. Yeah. I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Oh, why the dress you wear may be too tight.
Yes, greetings and blessings. Today they classify as Ash Wednesday, which is supposed to be the beginning of Lent according to certain people's system. But it would be best if you more consider it the beginning of spring, the month of March. Spring is a time of planting. They tend to say spring starts around the 21st or the 22nd of March, but there's nothing wrong if we start it on the 6th of March. So instead of celebrating Ash Wednesday, which has very little meaning to many of us, especially if you ever know the Catholic part of the history, you know, and with the Catholic Church being what it is and where it is today, it would be nice that almost everything they say, you do the opposite. You'd be much happier with your Creator because you can't listen to the words of the level of pedophiles, rapes, and just general sexual seductions which have been attributed to that denomination. So we give thanks to be here. A little late-ish start. We do apologize because we're coming down Constant Spring Road and it seems like apart from the normal traffic problems that you encounter, but it seemed like there was some major pipe which burst and they had to be fixing it today. So all sort of big machinery and all of that. So the traffic coming down was horrible. And then now certain place on Hagley Park Road where you can't drive straight from Halfway Tree Road, come down on Hagley Park Road either. So all of that, you just have to just brakes because there are some motorists who can't wait. And when they start overtaking and rigmaroling and all of that, that only make the thing worse. And the delays take longer. But we give thanks. The station, Best FM, Best 100 FM. And we want to heal Winter's transmission right there at Maxfield Avenue. They have been some of the loyal advertisers on this program Best FM. So, Mr. Winter and company and all your wonderful staff, blessings, keep up the great work. We also, in moving to the program, we want to remember two of our outstanding stalwarts, Sister Paulette Smith, Sister Paulette over there in Mandeville, who recently passed, and her send-off to join the ancestors was last Sunday, Sunday the 3rd of March. So we want to hail all those who had turned up at Sister Paulette's over there in Mandeville, Sister Paulette's funeral. Another Pan-Africanist, Black Pan-Africanist, Brother Works. He also passed and was sent off last Sunday. But some interesting things happened at both of these funerals. One I attended, one I wasn't able to attend, but in speaking to members of the family, I'm gonna speak to one member of the family for Brother Works this afternoon here. And what struck me is that the Pan-African movement, those of us who are Pan-Africanists, loyal to Africa, loyal to the principles and the philosophies of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, loyal to Rastafari, loyal to the Black struggle, Africa, that there seems to be a dearth of dealing with our situation when a soldier, when a comrade has died. I know many of us, we don't see death in the normal way that others see death. We don't see death as this whole heap of mourning and dressed in black and all of that and so on. No. But that doesn't mean that we should leave our loved ones in the hands of those who they had despised during their lifetime. For example, in the case of Brother Work, his funeral took place in a Catholic church. And this is a brother who, I can assure you, that would be the last place that he would want to be in. Never supported them, never liked them, never sustained them, and so on. In the case of Sister Paulette Smith, now, this is not the first time this happening where I am concerned, but I don't think I don't go much funerals. So when I do go to send off my brother or sister, you know, or even in the case of my mother or father, some or other, the whole thing take a different tone. In the case of Sister Paulette, I went up, spoke for about 5 minutes, because, you know, these programs seem very tight, and these church things seems very, very timely. You know, they plan these things, and if it's 1 hour, it's 1 hour and thing, because, you know, pastor get paid according to how much work him do, and You know, sometimes them have all many funerals and many things and all sort of things. This is what I've noticed 1 and 2 times when I do turn up. So I figure that time is always a constraint. So I spoke very short. Though I could have said more because she was an outstanding sister. But I said very little. And I just mentioned that to the audience that she was a member of the Marcus Garvey People's Political Party. She was a member of the Marcus Garvey Foundation. She was a Pan-Africanist. She was loyal to Africa. She, you know, without a doubt, a Black nationalist, and so on. Just those things I mentioned. And this is why I presented myself with my red, black, and green, the Marcus, the UNIA flag. But she was also a member of the UNIA. And that's what I said, took my seat. Well, if you think that the thing was over, where I'm concerned, boy, it coming like it just started. A few other persons spoke. And then now, apparently there's a group over in Mandeville. They call themselves, I didn't get their full name. And then the one program that I had, funeral program, which I took, a young brother who was kind enough to lead me to the place, because I just went to Mandeville, and he was kind enough not only to carry me to the place, but waited and so on. So, you know, he seemed to have thought that I wouldn't need it, so he took it. I don't think he meant to think. Because I could have gotten more if I'd known that he had taken it, but I didn't know until I reached Kingston. But the long and short is that they call themselves the Israelites, this group of Black people, brothers and sisters, and they dressed in a type of Roman-looking garments, you know, the Romans, them used to dress certain way, and that's how them dress. So now the pastor or the person conducting the service call upon their pastor or their leader to say something. He was on the program to say something. So he came up. And when he came up, you know, quite regularly, you see some of these churches, when the pastor come up to speak, he has another person who's going to read the part of the scriptures that, you know, when the one who is speaking says, now find Ephesians 4, verse chapter 2, and find it and them read it and so on. So one talk and one read. So carry up and things. So when this brother started now, he said, well, I'm going to read to you all a text which Sister Paulette sent me, that is sent to him, in August of last year. Now, Sister Paulette died, I think, she actually died, I think, in January of this year. So he said he's going to read a text which Sister Paulette sent him in August last year. And he have his henchman beside him, you know, and read the text. And the text now says words to the effect that Sister Paulette was now saying. Apparently she had visited their church, the Israelite church, on one occasion prior to her passing. And she seemed to have texted the pastor words to the effect that she is now searching. And in her search, she is finding Israel to be the place for her. And that, from what he reads from the text, and that she's going to come out of Egypt and stop wearing the ankh. Now, so the brother starts, that's how he starts his ceremony now, you know. So he starts his ceremony. So I'm paying strict attention, I'm listening. And then now he selects passages from the Bible that show the glory of Israel and Jerusalem. You know, the greatness, and, you know, you got to be in Israel. You got to be an Israelite to be somebody. Then he select passages from the Bible now to show that Egypt means bondage. Egypt means slavery. So he builds up now to show that Sister Paulette was now coming out of bondage and slavery and was searching to find Israel. So I'm there listening to him. But as it goes along, I realize now that it's really Iman that he's answering. And it's Iman that him really would like to attack. So I continue to listen. Then when him say now, well, the brother who came up and spoke about Marcus Garvey and organizations found by Marcus Garvey, then he look at his henchman beside him and him say, but what has happened to Marcus Garvey? Then you're the henchman now, almost like something them rehearsing. You're the henchman now. He's dead. You're the pastor now. He's dead. Him can't save nobody. In other words, he has failed. Isn't that so? And the henchman says, oh yes, he has failed. And the pastor says, well, it's only Jesus Christ that can save you. And the henchman says, oh yes. And, you know, them go on and so on. And them build it up now, him go and talk. Then it's like him somewhere them feel that him now either reach me or reach the audience. So him have to specify reference to me now, you know. And continue with him thing. I listen carefully. Now, then them done and thing. After that, now them thing. And in a Mandeville now, this place a name what name? Some place. Where them seem to have the church. Them have the funeral home where the Lins them control the funeral parlor there in a Mandeville itself, but them have this burial ground and church and everything up in a hill at what's his name? Harker's Hall. Yes, some place there outside of Mandeville, big place, and so on. Go by the graveside now. Then hear which song them sing now for send off Sister Paulette when them put her in the grave. Same people them were blast. So Marcus Garvey dead and really, you know. Pastor and everybody. Guess which song them are sing now? Amazing Grace. You know. How sweet the sound that save a wretch like me. Of course, me not sing them hymn there. And those of us who listen to this program regularly know that over the years I've made it clear that that is one hymn written by a slave mistress, persons who had enslaved black people. So you cannot write any hymn that I will sing. Plus, I am no thing but save a wretch like me and all them foolishness there. Save a wretch like you, the enemy of the black race. So here's people know them thing, and you're coming out of Egypt, you're searching and you're joining Israel and all sort of thing. But it's Amazing Grace you're singing to send off an African black sister. I will be speaking. Sister Paulette has twins, 2 beautiful daughters. So next week I'll be speaking to one of her daughters for us to analyze that text and to let her give you all her views on the matter. But there's no way, brothers and sisters, that any African, any person that has live a life of the black race, that when they go to join the ancestors, that you should be singing such him like Amazing Grace. Or you should be putting somebody like Berger. Brother Works, many of you know him as Berger. Berger has been around. He used to be down at Wildman Street. He's one of the students of Chris Lawrence. He's a part of the UNIA. He's a part of the Black struggle. He was at one point with the low-income housing development with Brother Ben Monroe and others. They were working to see if they could change the landscape of the housing scheme in Jamaica. Didn't work out, but he has been part of our working towards liberation. And to know that is a Catholic church, you know. And it is not just the situation last Sunday that I see these things happening. We have seen many other brothers and sisters, Rastafari brothers and sisters, who burn fire upon Babylon, upon Rome, upon Catholic and everything. And when they pass, their relatives take them to the same place and church that they have abhorred many, many decades ago. So it must mean that the Pan-Africanists, Rastafari, have to pay greater attention as to how we send off our mamas and fathers, our brothers and sisters, to join the ancestors, so that we don't have the calamities that we buck upon. And like I said, this is not the first that I turn up at these things. And they always find that passage in the Bible, a passage which says to the effect that if you do not die in Christ, you cannot rise in Christ. No, you know, it's so bad that at one funeral, the pastor couldn't just read that and done, as they did at this one last Sunday. He had to go as far as say, so those who die in Selassie cannot rise up in Christ because they die in Selassie. If you die in Selassie, you want to rise in Selassie. You don't want to rise in a Christ. You don't want to rise in a nothing else. You live your life in Haile Selassie. You want to live that continuously. That is your journey. You live as a Pan-Africanist. You live as an African. You trod this earth as a Pan-African. You always must be remembered as a Pan-African, and you want your legacy to be a Pan-African. Not no Israelite and you're a Jew. And if you're not if you don't die an Israelite, you cannot rise an Israelite. Where them get these foolishness, where them keep bringing and harping and trying to ridicule the black race. I have said it over and over on this program, and I'm amazed that to find when I go this thing Sunday in Mandeville, the amount of people who listen to the program and says, Brother Miguel, I hear, I give thanks. But I've made it very clear. Jerusalem could not be my heaven. My heaven must be in either Harar, Nairobi, Accra, over in Lagos, Luanda, all these great African towns, villages, and cities. I couldn't leave them out to want to go to Jerusalem, where I see people like Netanyahu and Trump and those people celebrating the murdering of other people. Whether you agree with Palestinian or not, the mere fact that they live in so much blood and violence, and you're going to tell me that they are God's chosen people? No, I'm not into that, brothers and sisters. Not into that at all. And the day we all liberate ourselves from that, is the greatest feeling that you're going to feel and start to be yourself and start to overstand your ancestors and so on. So, we're going to move into our program, but before we do, now is March, in April is a strong Rastafari month. And so, just to remind you all of that great visit of His Imperial Majesty to Jamaica, 21st of April, 1966, we're going to start with this chant from Ras Ivy and family.
Because I know of the wonderful sentiments the people of Jamaica entertain for the Ethiopian people, I have always longed to come and visit Jamaica. Haile Selassie, I came to Jamaica in April 66. Oh, what a journey to see the King in April 66. Holy priests, warriors, and traitors, be still, for I am here. These were the words King Selassie I said in April 66. These were the words King Selassie I said in April 66. Up to this day, no one don't know how they now you're been the man say up to this day, no one don't know why it's standing and towing for the chalice in light and the spirit burn under the wing of the but everyone saw that as it came, it was the ceasing of the rain. But everyone saw that as it came, it was the ceasing of the Fatimotana, he did say, make way for the King. The tribes of Ghana would be heard, they wave palm branches for the King. There is African love, is the need for identity. These were the words King Selassie I said in April 66.
Strong and proud, we survive for the return journey on the Black Star Line. Mother Africa, we want to come home. We bear the witness, we have the evidence. We stand firm for justice and independence. Can we forgive those who show no shame, who did great evils in Jesus' name? They fear no God and had no punishment. Our aim is truth for self-contentment. In this world, black things are bad. In redemption, we're free, not sad. No more oppression, nor destruction. Pride and strength must be the true salvation. Strong and proud, we survive for the return journey on the Black Star Line. Though for for centuries. The truth they hid. Can we deny what black people did? Of famous Egypt and Zimbabwe. Black involvement, history takes away. Benin and Timbuktu are ours to keep. But much more we claim and see. David and Solomon and Cleopatra, Ethiopia and the Queen of Sheba. The laws we made, no one showed us how. We must begin again, and the time is now. We have to start to find our way. Strong and proud, we survive for the return journey on the black side. We want to come home. We didn't grow. Africa is our name.
Yes, if the music is coming across in a little way or so, we seem to have a little some speaker problem. Bear with us. This program, and he always makes contribution for the information pertaining to Emperor Theodorus. Emperor Theodorus, he was the emperor of Ethiopia in 1862 when the British led by General Napier, when they raided Magdala. Magdala was a mountaintop where Emperor Theodorus had entrenched himself. And when he realized that with the treacherous support of some of the Eritreans and others, that he would have been defeated, rather than fall in the hands of the British, he took his own life. So, nevertheless, they raided Magdala, and that was when the British stole a number of books, the original writings of the Kebra Nagast, original writings of the Fetha Nagast, original writings of the Book of Enoch, the Ethiopian, and many other treasures that they took. Brother Samuel has just brought to my attention that just this week he heard a BBC, something on the BBC stating that the British want to return. For example, Theodorus, they had cut off a lock of his hair, and they have that here, and they want to return it, along with some of the artifacts that they had taken, including Theodorus' crown. I think Brother Samuel mentioned that they had taken 7 elephant load of things from Magdala. But in truth and in fact, Brother Samuel, it was more than 7 elephants, because that they had to use elephants to carry these things from Ethiopia over into Egypt and then ship them along the Mediterranean to England. It was much more than 7 elephant loads. We have seen some recordings which said more than 13 elephants, and we have seen some that says more than 30 elephants that carried so many things down from Ethiopia into Egypt and then shipped across to England. The importance of this is that we don't know what it is that the British will be returning. They should, in fact, not be selective. They should return all because it was stolen. But in mentioning this story, I can't help but mention that a brother, Brother Seymour McLean, a brother born here in Jamaica, in Clarendon, who presently sojourns in England. And about 20 years ago, now is what, 2019, more than 20, about 30 years ago, more than 30 years, yeah. Brother Seymour McLean had in fact gone to some of the British libraries and in fact took it upon himself to take some of these items. When Brother Seymour McLean read of some of the items that was stolen by Napier, General Napier, the white man, and I should also point out, Napier alone would not have been able to conquer Emperor Theodorus. He had the support of a lot of Indians. The British had taken some Indians from India and sent them on this expedition. And they had also taken some Ethiopians and some Eritreans and sent them on this expedition. The Ethiopians now knew of certain tracks that led up to Magdala. Those tracks would sort of make you end up behind the army of Emperor Theodorus. Well, so when Theodorus' guns are trained in a particular direction, awaiting the British Army, they found themselves being surprised by some of the traitors who knew certain private tracks to get up to that mountaintop at Magdala. Now, back to Seymour MacLean. He went to some of these libraries and took some of these books that were stolen by Napier from Ethiopia. Yes, our own Seymour MacLean, brilliant mind. And when the matter, the British now calling Scotland Yard and all of them big intelligence people, CIA and others, tracked down the books, and they led them to Seymour MacLean's place. Seymour MacLean was arrested, charged, and taken before the British court. Seymour MacLean stood before the courts and told them that he did not steal these books. These books belong to the Ethiopians, and that he, as an Ethiopian, had a claim of right to these books. Now, brothers and sisters, this is not just a little concocted story, a little make-up story. I want those who are listening to think, because in law, if you can show that the thing where a man take belongs to you and is your thing, you have a right to go back feet and take it back. You don't wait till the man destroy it, or the man burn it up, or the man this or that with it. You can go and take it back because you're saying it's yours. Seymour MacLean stood up before the courts in England and said, I am an Ethiopian. I'm a Rastafarian, and therefore I have a right. I praise highly Haile Selassie. I have a right to take back things in the name of Rastafari and in the name of Ethiopia and in the name of Haile Selassie. Well, the British prosecution now come and then bring Seymour MacLean passport and then bring him birth certificate and say, no, you were born in Jamaica. You have no claim of right to these things because you are a Jamaican, you are not an Ethiopian. And pretend that them don't understand when the man says he's an Ethiopian. That's how the British court and the British hierarchy behave when they want to behave certain way. So, and they resisted stoutly. So Seymour MacLean was sent to prison. So for them to be talking about now they're going to return the very thing or some of the things that they imprisoned a brother for taking, when the brother said, I am taking them on behalf of Ethiopia, I will get them to Ethiopia, I will return them to Ethiopia in due course. That's what Seymour MacLean tell them. I'm saying, no, all of that is mumble jumble and all of that. You're a thief. And so the brother was sent to prison, served his time, come out, still in England today. So it must be, I know that Brother Samuel has brought this to my attention. I will have to get in touch with Brother Seymour MacLean and find out the full story, and we develop on it, because, Britain, seeing Britain there, have so much things that belong to the Africans, not just Ethiopia. Nigeria, the carvings, the Benin masks that were made from metal, masks that were made from different metals thousands of years ago. What those things show is that when they are telling us that the Africans didn't do this and the Africans didn't do that, we were smelting iron and other metals when the white man was still in caves. He never ever knew how to make fire good, much less to understand metallurgical advances that we were at in those days. So when they stole these things, brothers and sisters, it's not just a buck up and thing, You steal these things so that you can tell our children the lie that we didn't invent this and we didn't invent that and we were not at that stage. We were backward and barbaric. That's what they do when they steal these things. So they had the Benin massacre in Benin, and they stole our masks, brilliant masks. They stole our doors. The African door was a history of his household. He carved his history on his door. So the door wasn't just like them like a plyboard where we have no way to swing open and say, no. The African door was a historical document. They stole many of those, have them there. They have them underground in these museums and libraries in England. So for Brother Seymour to have been able to liberate some of them, he had to really use his wisdom, because some of these things were 3 stories down underground. So just like when you take an elevator and go up, you had to go down. They put them there because, they store a lot of things underground in these countries that, especially after what Britain went through in World War II, when Hitler bombed the capital left, right, and center. So they want to put them there now that if the city is bombed, certain things are not destroyed. So that's the backdrop to what Brother Samuel has raised to me. I thank you, my brother, and we will certainly do some more research on it. We know the present Prime Minister in Ethiopia, the President or Prime Minister in Ethiopia is a very liberal-minded person. He is an Oromo, come from the southern part of Ethiopia. For years, the Oromos have been kept down by different leaders in Ethiopia. But there's a passage which my son brought to my attention this week, where His Majesty says, how can I discriminate against the Oromos when many of my ancestors were Oromos? Brother Abe, the president of Ethiopia, his father is a Muslim and his mother is a Christian. With His Imperial Majesty, His Majesty's father, Ras Makonnen, was a Christian, and his mother, Yashima Bet Ali, was a Muslim. So this youth has the same lineage. He seems to have the same thinking. In February, there was a statue erected in honor of His Imperial Majesty outside the Africa Hall, which is the place, the headquarters for the organization. It started out as the Organization from African Unity, OAU. It is now called the AU, but whatever nomenclature you want to put on it, the same principle, which is to unite Africa. So we don't know if this is a goodwill gesture by England towards Ethiopia that they want to return some of these things. But because with them facing all them Brexit problem now, they want to see how much other allies they can draw in when they leave Europe. So we want to watch these situations. And not only Britain, that has stolen a lot of things from Ethiopia. The Italians, the Belgians, Spanish, all of these countries have things that they stole from Ethiopia. Many of these European countries have things that they stole from Africa in general, from South Africa, from Zimbabwe. Great stone carvings, because Zimbabwe means the land of stones. They have some beautiful carvings made from stones in Zimbabwe. Amazing, amazing carvings that you will see. You will never see in no part of the world the level of carving in stones that you see in Zimbabwe. Many carvings in Ghana. Like I always talk about the Nook culture of Nigeria, and why I keep mentioning it, and you all can look it up these days, is because the wood carvings from that culture, they have used the carbon machine. The carbon machine shows the amount of rings that are in the wood. And based on those rings that are in the wood, you can tell the age of the wood. And they have come across some of these carvings which show that the wood that was used to make these carvings is more than 10,000 years old. So it's not me, Miguel, come up with all of these things. They have empirical data to back it up, to show. And when you talk about 10,000 years, you're talking before the Bible, brothers and sisters. You're talking before Jesus. So it's important for you to know that we had a culture in Africa before Jesus. We will move on. But like I said, the music tend to have a little problem. Lord, I don't know if you straighten it out, you know. The music, it a little better, you know. All right, I'm saying straighten it out. Well, you know, it's always nice to draw on one of our ancients. Bongo Herman. Yes, No Farai. This is one of the oldest Rastafari songs. And I want to heal up brother Bongo Herman. He's a brother that you see at almost every function when we are honoring especially our brothers and sisters. If it is a function to honor our Curly Locks brethren there, if it is a function to honor Bonnie Brown, function to honor any of our sisters or so, yes, Bongo Herman is present. Not only that, if it's fundraising function for the Black struggle, if we keep a function in any of the parks, whether Mandela Park, St. William Grand Park, Papine Park, or even when we go to St. Thomas or so, one brother you know that is going to be there to play his drum and to show solidarity, Bongo Herman. But many of these brothers don't get the credit and the praises that is due to them, you know. Many of them. Many of these tireless soldiers who give, I'm certain, over 70 years of contribution to the Black struggle. Very few tell him thanks. Well, Best FM and Brother Miguel Lorne is saying, Bongo Herman, give thanks.
I said to know for right, you got to come right over. I said to know for right, you got to come right over. I said to know for right, you got to come right over. I said to know for right, you got to come right over. If you want to live forever where you never, never die, never, never steal, never tell no lie, want him for your own, you don't have to roam. All you got to do, praise the Most High. Go for right, you got to come right over. Go for right, you got to come right over. Want to live forever where you'll never, never die. Never, never steal. Never tell no lie. Want it for your own. You don't have to roam. All you got to do, praise the Most High. Go for right. You got to come right over. Go for right. You got to come right over. Go for right. You got to
Man, that's it. Nice. One of the earliest songs. Let me just read a little passage from this book, The First Rasta. This is one of the earliest songs. Let me just read a little passage from this book, The First Rasta. This is what she writes. We don't know what Leonard Howell felt on his way to jail in 1934. Was he exalted, sanctified? Did he feel the sting of martyrdom? We do not know that his great spirit. We do not know that his great spirit was unbroken. We do know that his great spirit was unbroken. Now his cell was his pulpit. As soon as Howell arrived at St. Catherine Prison, his voice resounded through cell block and mess hall, and his captive audience listened carefully. You all, he would say, transgressors of a lawless regime, you are no longer the subjects of this kingdom of iniquity. You are Ethiopians. The Lion of Judah has broken every chain. In jail, he found more than a captive audience. He found devoted followers of his new faith. The inmates called him Gong, which means tough guy. Some also say it means gun in ghetto slang. So them used to call him Leonard Howell, the Gong. This is a name that Bob Marley took up later on when he called himself Tough Gong. We can imagine Leonard Howell's life in jail through comparison with that of another kingly rebel, Nigerian saxophonist Fela Kuti. Whenever Fela was imprisoned, the other prisoners saw to his every need. They washed his clothes, gave him food, found herbs for him. Howell, like Fela Kuti and Bob Marley, gave a sense of dignity to those that were outcasts. Proud and powerful, Howell imbued the prison with the aura of Rastafari, a new Christ-like force for the sufferers. He did not need to be related to Haile Selassie, as the judge had suggested, and that he had to be His Majesty's ambassador. He radiated his divinity. In dank cells, in the dark of the tropic night, hushed voices recounted the coronation of the kings of kings. So we raise that with you with regarding our brother Leonard Howell, who is regarded as the first announcer of the faith of Rastafari. Give thanks. Now we want you all to remember now Princess Love and her wine launch, her wine exposure. That's this Saturday, the 9th of March. She'll be having her wine expose up there at West Road at the University of the West Indies at the Rastafari Studies Center. We're going to be calling her a little more and speak to her and ask her how the preparation's coming along, so that those who wish to go there, remember she has won many gold medals for her wines and so on. So therefore, you can go along, sample her wines made from merengue, thinking tour, Guinean weed, ganja, cannabis, and many other grassroots wine. You must sample it starting at 5 o'clock, the 9th of March. In walking in, I see here a calendar, Reggae Calendar 2019. And we know that this calendar is put out by Brother Java. Yes, Java Jamming, which is on this station here, that you can take in Brother Java Emmanuel I. And he has put out his 2019 calendar, Reggae Calendar. I'm certain when you listen to his program, he will tell you where and where you can get these calendars to buy. It's always a nice, comprehensive calendar featuring some of the outstanding names in reggae. On this particular one I'm looking at on the front picture here, I recognize you have Nadine Sutherland, Beanie Man, Buju Banton, Junior Reid, Richie Stevens. I have here Steel Pulse, Brother Okwo Nuro, Sizzler, quite a number of others on it here. Bob Andy. Well, it's a calendar worth getting. Lady G. Yes. And on the back here, you have Sister Carol on it also, Yellow Man. And you have a Lux version of my brother there who sing this song that he's now redeemed. On the back here, you have people like Jimmy Cliff, Warrior King, Barry Salmon, Etana, Jesse Royal, Damian Marley, Andrew Tosh. Quite a lovely, lovely calendar. Let me look on the inside now, what he normally does. Well, him start the calendar from September 2018, which is coinciding with the Ethiopian year. Ethiopian New Year starts in September. So he starts in September 2018, and it goes on. And for each page now, he has important events. And inside now, you have pictures of Fred Locke, Ernest Smith, Eric Monte Morris, Dennis Al Capone. And he gives you important dates. You know, 7th of January, Ethiopian Christmas. He gives you Don Drummond fatally stabbed by his girlfriend Margarita Mahfoud, 2nd of January 1965. 15th of January, he gives you another date, Dr. Martin Luther King. And he gives you some of the artists, the birth date of Ninja Man, Shabba Ranks in January. Clement Cox and Daddy. He goes on to February now. So on. And again, he gives you some of our outstanding artists that are born in February, along with other black freedom fighters. He goes on to March. And let me see who he has in March now. Some of the outstanding reggae artists in March. He has here for March. I'm trying to see here now. He has Toots Hibbert, 3rd of March. Burning Spear, Winston Rodney, 1st of March. That's his birthday. Then you have the 2nd of March, the One Love Peace Concert. 2nd of March also, the Battle of Adwa. 1st, 2nd of March, thereabouts, the Battle of Adwa in 1896. 3rd of March, that's Toots Hibbert birthday. On the 5th of March, that's when 2006, that's when Rastafari icon Mortimer Planner, that's when he joined the Ancestors. Then he has here on the 6th of March, Delroy Wilson, that singer with such a melodious voice. He passed on the 6th of March, which is today in memory. And on the 8th of March, he has Bob Marley and the Wailers shares the stage with the Jackson 5 at the National Stadium in Jamaica, 8th of March, 1972. Then the 8th of March, 1820 is the birth of Harriet Tubman. The 12th of March, that was when Malcolm X resigned from the Nation of Islam in 1963. 13th of March is the Grenada Revolution, the overthrow. That was when Eric Gary, who was the prime minister, was unseated by Maurice Bishop and the New Jewel Movement, the 13th of March, 1979. Then on the 13th of March, 1862, the US Congress forbade military slave hunt. Nadine Sutherland, birth on the 15th of March, 1968. And Justin Hines, he passed on the 16th of March, 2005. Justin Hines played an important part in the Wingless Angels that I play quite regularly on this program. He has here the 25th of March, that's the birth of Empress Menin. Now, it's not yet fully settled whether it's the 25th. There are some other persons that have given their birth on a different date in early April. But these things will happen, brothers and sisters, because you must remember the Ethiopian calendar doesn't follow the Gregorian calendar. The calendar that we mainly use that have these first and in some instances 31 days and so on, it's referred to as the Gregorian calendar. Gregorian calendar, again, it is named after Pope Gregory, the Catholic Church Pope Gregory. And that's why it is called the Gregorian calendar. And like I say, almost anything will come out of that Catholic Church. Don't follow it. It always has some evil to it. They cannot help but being evil, brothers and sisters. So this calendar which we use, which was designed by Pope Gregory, at some point we have to get rid of it because it can't be a proper calendar once it coming out of Rome. Rome just set that way, brothers and sisters, to be evil, to be murderous, to only drink blood and all these things. Yes. I know of Catholic priests or people who are training to become Catholic priests in Jamaica who tell me of going to other countries. One particular assistant priest tell me that he went to St. Lucia and they had to drink blood. And he tells me it has to be virgin blood. No, me don't know how you get virgin blood. But away him tell me, say him go down there and them tell him, say him have a drink. So this thing is not just where we say I come out now in a room with the sexual nastiness and so the whole thing, brothers and sisters. Take it from me, man. Them things are not holy and all of that, man. You know. Them place them, man. Just wake up. You don't have to go burn down nowhere. You don't have to go cuss nobody. But you just know if you know them settings there, leave it out. If your children are going to school, you have to go find a way if either tell them, say, you know, the ministry have to go stop support them school and all. Because, you know, I remember last week I was saying that, we don't hear nothing say this thing affect Jamaica. And we're seeing in the papers this week now where this lady come out and I said this thing and that go on. And to the point where the poor little priest have him have to resign. But I don't like this story with this lady come up with. I really don't like it. Where the one who come up with against my Father Richards also. I don't like it because she claimed that at 17 she was raped by him. She claimed that when she got to university afterwards, he came again and forced himself on her. She got pregnant 2 times. He pressure her to have abortion. There's something hocus pocus about fair story. There's something hocus pocus about fair story. Even, although I don't like the Catholic them, but even fair story now seem like it's more publicity she want than anything else and all of that. Because when you're 17, you have sense. When you're there at university, you're a big man. So you tell people, say, him force himself on you and him rape you and him force you to go have abortion. A man can't force no woman for abortion. You didn't have him tell, all right, say it happened one time. The next time, you know, but I tell him, say you're pregnant and just go have your picnic. So this little lady, I know, it even for him, you know, I sorry for him. I really sorry for him because it's a hocus pocus about it and so on. But, so those are some March again. Let me see now what else we can tell you about March. 21st of March, Bob Marley and Jacob Miller returned to Jamaica from Brazil. 22nd of March, 1946, that's the birth of the great Ken Booth. 23rd of March, Walter Rodney. He's born the 23rd of March, 1942, that's Walter Rodney, and so on. So, 27th of March, Marcia Griffiths received the United Nations Women of Great Esteem Award. Yes, 27th of March, 2004. Wow, great honor for Marcia Griffiths, man. She received the United Nations Woman of Great Esteem Award. And other little things. Eric Williams died on the 29th of March, 1981. You know, Eric Williams wrote quite a number of books from Columbus to Capture and so on. Capitalism and Slavery. Some good books Eric Williams write, but there's a great gap between him writing and when he became Prime Minister. Because when a man write the books, when he become Prime Minister, him even ban his own books. So, something a little weird. That's so, you know. Yeah, man. Always one of our favorite. Let's hope the musical part. Pick up now. Man, Junior Reid, let's listen to the voices of the grassroots, the voices of the, you know, the humble, the meek. And quite a lot of people have been asking me, I see this Buju Banton Long Walk to Freedom. You know, I see the whole concert and the whole thing. I look at it this way, brothers and sisters. If Buju is talking about his Buju Long Walk to Freedom, as time goes on, we'll know. If he's talking about the people, the African people who still need freedom, the people's walk to freedom, then time will tell. So it's along those lines that I'm thinking that I'm willing to give Buju enough time to see whether it is his Buju, personal freedom he's concentrating on, or the people's freedom. Because when Mandela said the long walk to freedom, he wasn't thinking of his Mandela personal freedom. He was thinking of the people's freedom. I caution myself because when I look at some of the people that are sponsoring this concert, then it doesn't lead looking good to say that it's a people's walk to freedom. Because some of these people that are sponsoring this concert, if Buju was to go sing certain songs at this concert, I am certain these people going to lick out against him. And yet it is those songs that for which Buju is seen as an icon. When Buju stand up on behalf of the people, not on behalf of big businesses, not on behalf of men and people. So I'm hoping that Buju make himself even a greater champion now on behalf of grassroots people. Time will tell.
I was alone, with no hope of salvation. I held up my hands, and the rain fell. As the waters held me close, I remember you. Hold me, embrace his rod. Think it's over, but it's only begun. The child is born who has to face the world you're living. It's a dangerous place. Listen to the voices crying to be free. Can we be the promise that we promised to be? Love and understanding are better than a war. People just laughing cause they heard it before. Night chills in plenty town. Cardboard hotels, they sleep underground. Our choices have to respond. Red or roses with a double orange. Listen to the voices, so easy to ignore. Choruses of old folks scared to open the door. Living in the shadows, dying in the cold. In the city jungle, ain't no place to grow. Listen to the voices crying to be free. Can we be the promise that we promised to be? Love and understanding are better than a war. People just laughing cause they heard it before. Helpless will never be. True justice is so hard to see. Kindness is that same old song. Don't stop singing. It's so much strength and kindness. So much strength and kindness. Oh, listen to the voices. Listen to the voices. Crying to be free. Crying to be free. Can we be the promise? Can we be the promise? The promise to be. Love and understanding. Love and understanding. Better than a war. Better than a war. People just laughing. People just laughing. Cause they heard it before. Listen to the voices, so easy to ignore. Choruses of old folks scared to open that door. Living in the shadows, dying in the cold, dying in the cold. In the city jungle, in the city jungle, ain't no place to grow. Oh, listen to the voices, listen to the voices. Crying to be free, crying to be free. Can we be the promise? Can we be the promise that we promise?
Right, there you have it. Continue to listen to the voices that are trying to be free. Those voices that are echoing out And that's what we have to be doing here on radio. We must speak for those who don't get the chance to speak whenever we come here. Now, I'm encouraging you all. There are 2 books. One named Jah Kingdom, which was recently launched, written by Sister Monique Bedassi. Jah Kingdom, Rastafarians, Tanzania, Pan-Africanism in the Age of Decolonization. Very, very good book. I'm now getting a chance to read it. Gone about halfway. Very, very good. And I would encourage you all to get a copy of this book. Tells of our journey, our brothers and sisters, to Tanzania. Now, in reading this book on Tanzania, I go back now to another book that some time ago we had the sister in the studio with us, Sister Bonacci, Julia Bonacci. She wrote this book, Exodus. Exodus, Heirs and Pioneers, Rastafari Return to Ethiopia. So again, this book, very, very detailed. It's a 500-page book. But brothers and sisters, this one now deals with the return of our brothers and sisters to Ethiopia. That's Exodus. And Jah Kingdom deal with the return of our brothers and sisters, not just from Jamaica, but other Caribbean countries, other countries, America, England, and so on, to Tanzania. It's good for you to read these things, brothers and sisters. You don't have to agree with everything that is in it, but it's good that you open your minds and realize that when we say repatriation, that there are many brothers and sisters that are in fact returning to the land of our mothers and fathers. Going there not just to visit, not just to go perform at a stage show, but to permanently live there. You know, so that is what is happening. And it's good to read about it, study it, or understand it, and so on. It helps you when you go in certain audience and we talk about repatriation, that this thing is not a dream anymore. It's not a fantasy, but it's a reality.
In every existence, I've tested my patience. The extent of wisdom I learned, where must not be exempt. So rest while you can, for the Lord is heavy. Awake from your slumber, are you ready? Come see the enlightenment of this God. The overstanding is rock bottom cold. Free to be free, freedom free. Yea, count it joy for you and me. Free to be free, freedom, freedom, free. Greatest solution is word, that is freedom, freedom, freedom.
Those who lead must find out means and the ways of created. Lightning and thunder, you've got to get rolling. Free the minds of the people, teach them their word, and up obtaining the power outside the universe. No chain bonding, freedom must be free. See the goal, greatest you are leading. Free to be free, freedom, freedom, freedom. Yeah, count it joy for you and me. Free to be free, freedom, freedom, freedom. Greatest solution is world. That is freedom, 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 freedom.
Start again.
In every existence, I've tested my patience. In the extents of wisdom I learned, where must not be exempt. So rest while you can, for the Lord is heavy. Awake from your slumber, are you ready? Come see the enlightenment of this goal. The overstanding is rock bottom cold. Free to be free, freedom free. Yea, count it joy for you and me. Free to be free, freedom, freedom, freedom. Greatest solution is word. That is freedom, 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 freedom. Those who lead must find out means and the ways of created. Lightning and thunder, you've got to get rolling. Free the minds of the people, teach them their word, and up obtaining the power outside the universe. No chain bonding, freedom must be free. See the goal, greatest you are leading. Free to be free, freedom, freedom, freedom. Yeah, count it joy for you and me. Free to be free,
solution is word. That is freedom, 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 freedom.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Yes, I listen to Best FM.
Why, yeah.
Alex Black, come on, yeah.
A king mysterious, the musical Obia man.
And on the beat, the captain of the Harvey Lotion. Alongside Kabaka, the lyrical John. Skippy bang.
The definition of a king, I defend the nation, why I'm a governing. Ew. Them feel the powers man a fling. From them rise up the lion, everything we conquering. Like the definition of a king, empress by my side like a forever coming. Hey. The definition of a king, never sell out the crown, cause we ever suffering. Like
watch out, the definition of a king. Looking at myself, I see the power is within. Then me tell Goliath, better keep it cool and quiet, because when they with him, it's just like David with the sling. Saddle to the east, step in a foreign. Mind me to the beast, let me go for him. I don't need no Mona Lisa, searching for a melanin. Now we're full of melanin, I them they think me in. Bring back the rhythm in at the party. King in the ring can do one thing to the heart. I am not the seer, I am here, I am water. Try to stop the elements and me just kill them with laughter. From the words that you me never to listen to pastor. Rasta man they tell me say your money them day after. Can't sell up the soul, me tell them long time with Kabaka. So run go tell your master, say you book up in a Mufasa. What a disaster.
The king move with a team full of supreme rulers. We see through the disease what the beasts have bring to us. They move foolish, checkmate. Ruthless, the king moving, the bantu with a plan, cooler than Black Buddha. Whether it's the black or more tracking by the stars, or the king from my side, who the lion can track up the class. Conjuring in the song, me sing beside them from afar, like the youth them from afar. Anytime he come to our Walakuna, it's to chop off the head of the beast. Heal the nation, fling the war upon them devil disease. Enemies from the freeze, minus 20 degrees. Children of the sun, come fit on up the heat. Skip the courtesies, I speak the heresy. Antidote to churches. So many points about them can't count the amount of vertices. The king defeat the curse and be the first to lead. And chart it for your cheese with man like Randy Lee. Actually,
like the indigenous people never giving up. And towards a child is born, another son is risen up. The defender of the nation, the true one living proof. The manifestation of divinity within us. The one who will stand up for the rights of the people. And even put his life on the line for the people. Can't have a king without a queen. We represent the family. When the king step in, him turn the house into a castle, run the priest out of the church and rebuild the tabernacle, yeah. Them raise the watch and know we are fearing the battle. The king done set it, Babylon fit tackle. The soldiers not stop fighting the wicked people. How them wicked so till the punishment it have to triple. Cause how them could have ever want kill a man like Martin Luther the king. Who will step up and defend it, the king? Protect the women and the children, the king.
The definition of a king. Push good vibes, the recognition of a friend. There's a mission I am in, benediction I can bring. Repetitions of my sins, the demolition was within. The medicine that I will drink for the condition I was in. Made it quite clear, I'm here, corrections must begin. And it really feels good like the finishing of something. I'm ambitious and I think any competition I can win. Open up and know it's the beginning of the end. Read the news, see the truth, television is the end. The permission was given to pessimists without a grin. Sometimes, unlike politicians, always think I'm like a sunrise. There's a vision I have glimpsed and it's no fun to program peace to piss against the wind. There isn't an evidence the president is not the king. It's great stuff that makes up the definition of a king.
When I man consult with if I decide the prediction, but he gonna sink quicker than a pit of quicksand. We not in a them live it in a them predilections. Kabaka be the higher priest to them the benediction.
As a king, it's not about the throne where you're sitting on, not about the crowns and the robes where you're fitting on, not about the chalice make a goal where you're sipping on. It's about protecting every soul of the millions of people. Them where you're holding your dominion. Free them, do not control them with no religion. Teach them, God is a force when living within man. Feed them, no GMO for stop with digestion. As a king you have to own every decision. Stand up like a man, like a soldier with him weapon. If trouble come you know the rules and the rituals. Spiritual vision you can encode it in physical. This tradition we uphold in the
the digital age is critical, cause we don't see political governments doing nothing to open your visual. Cause in a Babylon, the kingdom are the criminals.
Typical felonies, the medicine in our hand. Stepping out of the pyramid, stepping with the contraband. The all illusion never jam. Black and like the wonder that empathic inhabits to defend the nation overall. That's the definition of a king. I defend the nation, but I'm a governing. Ew. Them feel the powers man a fling. From them rise up the lion, everything we conquer. Like the definition of a king. Empress by my side like a paramount coming. Hey. The definition of a king. Never sell out the crown, cause we ever sovereign. Like oh, now them shoulda known now. The king a wear the crown and we never go down. I miss the one and you shoulda known now. The king a wear the crown and we never go down.
Yes. Yes, greetings. It's on the line there. We're trying to link with one of our outstanding African brother that is presently in Lisbon. Right. We continue playing some music and try to get the link going. Yes.
Station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Let I listen to Best FM.
Watching over right beside water, it can move seas and great rivers. If I call upon giant prayer, evil feel the world that we in if I they want to conquer. Wicked man prepared to be judged by the Savior. Lead to my Toyota. I know the devil would have come from right in a suit and tie. Jah reveal them straight through my eyes. No more victim of lies. I know the devil would have come from right in a suit and tie. Jah reveal them straight through my eyes. No more victim of lies. Nah take no chat from Vatican. Nah broke no bread with no dirty hand. Cause I see from afar, say I trap them setting. Now go become a victim. They shall fail. This war that we in Jaja divide the answer. Cause I see from afar, I know I'm a winner. They shall fall at my feet, oh God. I know the devil would have come for right in a suit and tie. Shall reveal them straight through my eyes. No more victim of lies. I know the devil would have come for right in a suit and tie. Shall reveal them straight through my eyes. No more victim of life. In a disaster, Babylon, your time will come. Even in a million years, your time will come. Even if them roll out them troops and a march with a million guns. See, I know the time has changed. Your time has come. I know the devil would have come for right in a suit and tie. Shall reveal them straight through my eyes.
Some more, I telling you, the devil is going to come in the suit and tie. Nice. Now, with regard to Venezuela, because when you listen to some of these news agencies, them give you all sorts of things about Venezuela, which are not true. I even hear one member of parliament in England, member lady in England in the British Parliament, get up and say how they have stuffed the ballot boxes at the elections in Venezuela. All the elections, they stuffed the ballot boxes. Even from Chavez's time, they stuffed the ballot boxes. That's what they do. Now, when you hear these things and so on, many of you might not realize the level of ignorance. Because you're going to say to yourself, a member of parliament in England should know better. Anything them saying, they must get it from somewhere. No. Venezuela, since the year 2000, or a little after 2000, all the elections in Venezuela have been electronic voting. So nobody can stuff no ballot boxes in this era of time. So but them don't care, you see, because it sounds good to the BBC, it sounds good to the CNN, and it sounds good to all these stations, and they repeat it without even checking the facts to know that there's no ballot boxes to stuff in Venezuela. But they want to invade. They make it clear. The President of the United States says so. His henchmen them say so, that there is to be no socialism in this part of the world. You know, even when some of the broadcasters, them, you know, even said to them, say, but hold on now. Oh no, attack Maduro, son, talk about this and talk about that. And the president just got talk to Kim Jong-un. Him just meet him over in Vietnam the other day. You know, how come and Kim Jong-un no keep elections? Kim Jong-un no thing. And Maduro can't compare to Kim Jong-un according to them. So how come the president and she can hug up with him and attack them things against Maduro? Even when some of the broadcasters them try to even bring out a little middle of the road type of thing. I'm still one broadcaster said to the one advisor to the president, him said to him, say, but in bed with all the people in Saudi Arabia, the king of Saudi Arabia, them people no keep elections, and them is a repressive regime, them not pretend about it. How come an America go there and wrap up with them and them is dictatorial? How come and then not go on so with Maduro? Them can't answer. Because them just vex for know the country is much better off than they have been trying to portray it to be. What are some of the facts? Venezuela has a high human development index. They are ranked second highest in Latin America and the Caribbean by the United Nations Development Program report in 2017. Venezuela was ranked in 2017 the second highest in Latin America and the Caribbean in terms of human development index by the United Nations. Now, Venezuela achieved the zero hunger target prior to 2015. Zero hunger in 2015 through the public sale and distribution of a food system under their social programs. Zero hunger in Venezuela by 2015. In terms of hunger eradication, in 2014, Venezuela and the FAO, Food and Agricultural Organization, funded the Hugo Chavez Hunger Zero program, which executed projects aimed to lower hunger in 19 Latin American and Caribbean countries. So not only for Venezuela, but for other Caribbean countries, Venezuela, along with the UN, funded programs to help reduce hunger in other countries. This was under Chavez in 2014. Now, Venezuela was the first country to achieve the Millennium Development Goal in only 9 years. What does this mean? In 2012, the United Nations Development Program recognized Venezuela for achieving the 2000 to 2015 Millennium Development Goals. Not Venezuela says so, you know. No America says so, you know. It's the United Nations says so. That between 2000 and 2015, they achieved, they never even waited till 2015. In 9 years, they achieved the UN Millennium Development Goals. Now, according to the 2016 Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, a group named ECLAC, ECLAC, according to their report in 2016, Venezuela lowered its poverty by over 50 points. That is between from 1999 to 2015. They lowered it by 68%. They lowered it from 68%, that is the poverty line. They lowered it from 68% to 17%. So in terms of the largest poverty reduction. Now, I give you all of this because I know many of you see long lines now line up, and you can say to yourself, oh, America, if you line up aid along the border with Colombia now, and the people them won't get in, and the government have burned the trucks them with the aid and so on, and America use it now for say the people them are suffer and all of that. The people are now suffering because of the economic blockade and the financial blockade which America and Europe have leveled against Venezuela. That is what is causing the poverty to rise up now. This is why I'm giving you the finances now. I'm giving you the facts. Prior to 2017, up to 2017, the struggles that you saw, that you have been seeing on your television, although miscued and all of that, and so on, in 2018 and so forth, and now going over in 2019. In other words, billions of dollars which is due to the Venezuelan government, have been withheld by the United States banking system, by the United States Financial Center, and also by the different European countries. So in other words, they are using that to strangle the country and to make its money virtually worthwhile, or worthless, I should say. That is what the strategy are using. So in terms of poverty reduction, the Economic Commission for Latin America up until 2016 rated Venezuela in the terms of Latin America and the Caribbean. They had the largest poverty reduction in the region. Now, according to the World Bank 2015, the World Bank Index report, the most socially equal country in the region, that is in Latin America and the Caribbean, the most socially equal country. What that means, brothers and sisters, is that the wealth spread out. You know, like in Jamaica, you have the very rich and the very poor. And you have a few in the middle where try go up to be rich. In terms of socially equal country, in 2015 in the region, the World Bank, same World Bank index where Jamaica used enough time for them ratings to say, yes, the country improved. They recognize Venezuela as the most socially equal country in the region. Coming back to the poverty line now, Venezuela accomplishing the Millennium Goal of poverty reduction, passing the 5% mark, lowering the rate of extreme poverty to 4.4%. It's one of the lowest in the Latin American and Caribbean region. Yes. Yes. Greetings and blessings.
Greetings, sir. How are you doing?
Blessings, my brother. Give thanks. We have been trying all night to reach you, so I'm glad that you have been able to reach us. Yes.
Sir, yes, sir.
Nice.
One was the other, and both was the first. So since I see you guys tried in vain, I had to definitely make sure that I do my part of the journey. So glad we finally connect.
I'm glad we are connected. Introduce yourself to the Jamaican people, because you let them know you're calling from Lisbon in Portugal. Isn't that so?
Yes, I'm calling from Lisbon in Portugal, but I'm originally from a country in the heart of Africa called Central African Republic.
Yes.
And yes, I've been blessed with the opportunity of moving to Portugal, which is a cold country, obviously southern side of Europe, which allows me to be close to Africa and close to the rest of the world. So making it easy for the travels.
Right. And for our listeners to understand, the Central African Republic is bordered by, you have Cameroon on to the east, right?
Absolutely, sir.
Border on Cameroon to the east. To the west, you border with, it's your border with, is it the Sudan?
You would have Sudan, you would have Sudan, Chad, Cameroon.
Right.
The Democratic Republic of Congo, the Republic of Congo, and a little bit further down, the Republic of Gabon. So we are very, very much in the heart of Africa.
Right. You're Central Africa, Chad to the north, Sudan, and so on, Cameroon, and so forth, that you border with. Now, it is said that your country is rich in minerals.
It is extremely rich in minerals and rich in culture, rich in amazing wealth of culture, but we are absolutely damaged by internal conflicts caused obviously by, just beyond the control of the population. But yes, we have a beautiful country indeed.
Yes. Yes.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. But the music of my country is not really known. I mean, we have there's a few artists that have tried to break through, but they have not necessarily, known to your side of the world yet. So I'm hoping to be not only the first, but the first of many more, allowing more communications and more exchanges between our respective countries and regions of the world.
Pronounce your name for us. Tell us pronounce it properly that I can get it right.
My name is Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva.
Safra.
Sattva.
Spell it for me.
Sattva. Bodhi, Bodhi, and then you have Sattva, Satva, Bodhisattva.
Sate.
TVA, T as in Tony, V as in Vincent, A as in Antoine. So Sattva.
Sattva. Beautiful.
Yes, Virgin.
So your connection with Lisbon and Portugal. What, Central Africa at one point was colonized by Portugal?
Not at all. Central African Republic was colonized by French.
By French.
However, my connection with Portugal is really first and foremost music. I was able to, through the years, I'm celebrating 18 years of career this year, and Portugal is one of the countries in Europe that has embraced my work through the years, and it felt just right for me to be located here because of its proximity to the African continent, being that we are on the southern part of Europe, and also proximity to the rest of the world. So let's say if I want to come to Jamaica from Lisbon, I'm gonna have to just have one stop over in Miami or some other places in the Caribbean. So it's a pretty straight line to any countries around the world.
Tell me, because you're speaking English very well, what's the native? What's the main language? Apart from if it was colonized by France, that more than likely French is commonly spoken there, ain't it?
Absolutely, but we have a very, very strong wealth. That is that we all speak one common language besides French, which is a language called Sango.
Go slow with me. Sango, Sango.
Yes, sir, exactly.
Yes.
Sango is the language spoken throughout the country, north, south, east, west, center. There's no tribe in the country that does not speak this language. We all speak the same language by God's grace. But, it's indeed our biggest wealth. We are one of the few countries in Africa with that kind of great homogeneity within the tribes.
So do you also sing in the Sango language?
Well, I speak about 10 languages, understand 17.
How much languages? Hold on, go slow. How much languages you speak?
about 10.
About 10. It sounds like you modernize it because and so on. But
it's for me. I speak obviously English. I speak French. I speak Portuguese. I speak first and foremost Sango, my father's tongue, and some dialects from my country, as well as a little bit of.
No, we don't call them dialects. It's the European refer to it as dialect to try to minimize the importance of it. It's a language, it's not a dialect. Because if we start calling them dialect, then Dutch, German, Swedish, and all of them is dialect because all of them virtually connected to one another. So them is dialect of Latin.
Yeah, absolutely right, Virgin. But in the refers to dialect, in my understanding, was more to refer to the fact that we are speaking one main language, and each and every part of the tribe have their own language, obviously, which we, as you said, reduce to the term dialect. But you're very right; it's indeed a language. So yes, let me rectify. yes, very, very good, very, very good, my brother. And I know with our sister Shauna is promoting you here in Jamaica. Big time, and I'm very thankful for this opportunity. Shauna has been endorsing my work and embracing me as a brother from another, and I'm extremely honored. And I'm really, really happy that you even taken me on board of your show for this interview.
Yes, because we would certainly look forward to the day when you'll be able to come to Jamaica.
Absolutely. It will be one of the main goals that we have to fulfill if God will grant us this opportunity to make it happen this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, this year, very good, very, very good, very, very good.
We're going to work on it. We nothing is guaranteed. Everything is in God's hands, but
yes,
we shall try.
Yes, but I understand that you perform all over Europe and all of that. Your name is well known in many of the European countries.
Well, it's well, thankfully it's well known in most countries around the world. Even in Jamaica, I was very surprised, but I do have a niche fan, amount of followers that, amounts up to maybe 50 or 100 people really listening to my work in Jamaica, which was very surprising to me. So the sound is really going worldwide. But, and I have obviously worked with several artists, reggae artists from Burkina Faso, reggae artists from UK on several tracks. So, I've crossed genres and styles with my music, allowing me to really, expand the sound worldwide.
All right. So just for those listeners who just join in, we're speaking to Bodhi Sattva. I pronounce it right, my brother?
Yeah,
Bodhi Sattva. And the brother is from the Central African Republic. It's a landlocked country, isn't it?
It is absolutely a landlocked country. It's blessing and it's curse at the same time. Yes, indeed.
Right. So your nearest sea outlet would be which country? Which country I forgot you if you're going to go to the coast?
We would have to look at the Republic of Congo and the city of Pointe Noire, which will be the first access to the sea. Otherwise, we are completely locked.
What's the population like?
Well, according to the numbers that we've had, it has been reduced dramatically because of a really serious war that was going on, that they tried to put under the category of religious war, or even better, or worse, tribal war, which is absolutely nonsense. But unfortunately, it has reduced the population by a massive exode. So we were 4 million, something like that, 4.5, probably 20, 15 years ago. And in the past 5 years, I believe we've come down to maybe 2.9. But those numbers still have to be verified indeed, because we've definitely have a loss of population due to these troubles in the country.
That's amazing, because Jamaica have a population of about 3 million, and Jamaica could fit into your country.
Absolutely.
You could fit into your country about 10 times. Or more, probably about 20 times that Jamaica could fit into your country, and for you to have the same population of Jamaica. That would mean that, because you do have a lot of forests there, isn't that so?
We have a lot of forests. We have, my brother, you have to understand, we are in the Central African region, which is the equator. So basically, in terms of luxuriant forests, nature, it is unbelievable. You plant anything, it grows.
No, I believe you, and you have some rivers there and all of that too.
Yes, listen. But unfortunately, you know how it goes. These kind of countries are cursed by the very blessings that have been bestowed upon them by the Almighty. So the population is unfortunately the one that's victim of this. But there is, thankfully, people like myself and others, obviously, that are even more active, doing the work to bring back the diaspora in the country and reinvest and rebuild trust and a sentiment of stability. But it's going to take some time, for sure.
I'm really glad to be speaking to you. We're gonna play some of your music. Yes, but I don't want to take up the time that you're on the phone to play the music. We'll play some of the music after. But to speak to you about the Central African Republic is as important to me as the music, because not very often we get to speak to someone who is from Central African Republic, and not very often we get the chance to hear firsthand what is happening on the ground in some of these African countries that are in the news, that are not in the news, I should say. In fact,
and they are not in the news because go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I have a policy. If you're not in the news, that means you're doing something good. Yes, because you tend to be in the news when there's something bad going on. So the country must be doing something good. Probably you are developing. My thing is that probably you are developing slowly. You are not beholding to anybody. You're not bowing to anybody, or something like that. But you are not in the news, and therefore you must be doing something great.
That will be okay. So what you're saying makes sense for some countries, but you have to understand in Africa the reality is dual. So if you're not in the news, it's because the mass media has an interest, or the powers in place have an interest not to make sure that you're in the news, to maintain their reach into, controlling the level of destabilization within the country. So I can give you this example. We have probably over 100 NGOs in the country.
Over 100 NGOs.
And not a single one. Maybe 1, 2, maybe 4, if I'm really genuine, are doing a job or trying to do a job that is to help the population. But the population, in fact, was stable before the people came in the country in the first place. But it was a political destabilization that caused for the people to, when people are hungry, people don't have food to eat.
Yes.
People don't have the necessary means to suffice to the healthcare, etc., etc., etc. It's a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
So yes, we are indeed blessed with a capacity to come out of this troubled period that we've just passed through. So you're right. In the sense, we are not in the news because we are finally finding a little bit our rhythm back into peace. But it's taking time. And of course, the more exposure we have for the artists, for the music, for the culture that we are trying to push, the better. Because it will bring awareness, even eventually motivate some of our brothers abroad. Jamaican brothers, Caribbean brothers, American, whoever you are in the world, to be like, hey, you know what? I've never heard of this country. Let me find out. Maybe I can come and visit. Maybe I can see what I can do, because the country needs more people from the diaspora.
I see more linkages and all of that.
You understand?
Because most of us, when we go to the West Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, and Guinea, and so on. Right.
Which is fantastic. But people forgot about the South Central Africa. Why? Because it is Francophone. Because it's French speaking, and it's not easy necessarily. But I believe that is where the mistake is. You have no idea. We have small communities that are really pushing for so many different cultures. We have our small, for example, you believe it or not, we have our small Rastafarian community, for example, in Central African Republic. Believe it or not.
You have a Rastafarian community there.
Yes, Virgin. It's very small, tiny, but it's there. It exists.
Give thanks. And that is in Bambara. That is in the capital, Bambara.
So Bambari is the economical capital.
Yes.
The political capital is Bangui, and this is where we have most of the stability of the country now is there, because the rest of the country, unfortunately, is still in trouble. So the capital city, Bangui, is the one that's most stable now.
Okay. Do you have a French keeping force? I know, like for example, in Mali and Chad, they have some French troops there. Do you have any French troops in Central African Republic?
Yes, we do. But they are more there. I mean, now they are not as involved as they used to be in appearance. They're involved now, for example, talking about Portugal, they have now the Portuguese army involved as part of the UN keeping force peacekeeping forces, involving people from Bangladesh, India, other countries of Africa, right there locally based in Central African Republic. But again, hey, it's a long conversation. There's a lot of layers to this situation, and it's a very complex topic because you have to understand we have diamonds, we have gold, we have petrol, we have all these resources. So you can imagine.
Well, this is it, because when you see the pictures of the capital and you see the pictures of the streets and so on, you don't get the feel. You get the feeling that development is not as quickly as some of the other African countries.
I can tell you, if you the first time I was able to travel to other African countries, that was just neighbors of ours. For example, Cameroon or the Republic of Congo. I was in awe. I was in shock just to look at the airport. The level of technology and modernity was surpassing us. Yet we have more wealth than those countries.
And yet your country, I was at a conference in Trinidad last year, and we had some Nigerian governors and so on at the conference. And they said that the Central African Republic, along with the Congo and so on, they said that that is the richest region in Africa.
It is, my brother.
Gold, diamond, timber. You have culture in there too? The thing that make the cell phone?
We have everything you can imagine. From the natural mineral resources to actual cotton, coffee, sugar. But we have everything you can imagine, brother.
Wow.
Everything. It's everything. We are only, I can tell you, the country only exploits 4%, barely 4% of its resources. And I'm not even talking about natural, the full natural resources potential. 4%, brother. That's nothing. Imagine if the first country was to enrich its capacity.
And like I said, if you bother with so much other African countries, if you were exporting to some of these countries, the other thing too is that if you had a railway service,
yes,
I think that would help greatly.
But we don't have that. We don't even have roads.
Yes.
Can you imagine we have to import coffee from outside the country when we can produce our own coffee originally? We used to have, I remember in the 90s, we used to produce our own sugar. We used to produce our own coffee. But there is no way on earth to explain what happened to our industry locally. Mismanagement, corruption of all sorts, and boom. Next thing you know, things go south. But hey, there's hope. There's Central African brothers and sisters around the world who are really, really working on making sure that they go back to the country and do their best to help rebuild the nation. And of course, we call upon all our brothers and sisters around the world who are willing to put a helping hand and come and discover this amazing land. We have one of the most beautiful countries that you can see and imagine.
My brother, with an ambassador like you, I am certain you are going to be changing the globe in terms of people wanting to come to Central African Republic, because it sounds to me that one of your first problems is that you need people.
We need people. But first of all, I think we need to regain faith in ourselves.
Yes.
We still have this big issue of Central Africans, especially back home, with the concept of extending the hand in hope for help. This mindset has to stop. You cannot continue to show your hand so you can receive something. It's not possible. But it's understandable because the system and the country and the politicians have never put anything in place to educate the people. If your people is not educated, what do you expect them to do? Thanks to the internet, of course, they get an education, but it's completely perverted, because if you don't have a strong basis, you already know it's like a castle built on sand. It will fall.
Wow.
So it's a matter of really being patient and going at it step by step, patiently.
We're looking forward to you coming to Jamaica, my brother. Because when you come, I'm certain there will be a lot of brothers and sisters who will want to hear more details now as to how they can come to the Central African Republic to strengthen the Rastafari population there and to make great contribution to the African country. Your government there, you think if we were to discuss a serious repatriation program with them, that they would make land available to our people?
I cannot speak on their behalf because I don't even understand the level of openness of this government and others, to be quite sincere with you. However, I believe there is room for conversation because we have a large land. Our country is massive.
Yes.
There is enough space for everybody.
Yes.
So it's a matter of entering, as you know, it's politics. It's, diplomatic conversations and seeing what's possible to do. But I believe in nothing is impossible.
Absolutely.
And again,
that's the fire. That's the fire I like to hear, my brother. Because with this connection now, we're going to follow up. And when you go back home there, we are going to be, relating to each other. And if a delegation from here can come there, and we can live in dignity there, so we can contribute to the country. The country can contribute to our existence by living in dignity, and so on.
Yes,
sir. So my brother, this is more than just you talking to the program. The incidental, the name of the program is Bitter Sugar. Sugar can't be sweet for us because that was the excuse that was used to bring many of my ancestors over here to brutalize them in the barracoons in Africa, brutalize them on the slave ships, brutalize them on the plantation, and even continue the brutalization even until now. You'd be amazed what we go through over here, my brother. And yet, by some miracle, many of us survive and survive with our dignity. So, education is one means of pulling ourselves out of poverty. But the Father has also given us the music. The music has been one area where many of my brothers and sisters have used to take themselves out of poverty.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
So if we can link with our brothers and sisters from Central Africa and we can expand the music, expand our music coming there, expand your music coming over here, let us work towards that.
And I believe it is possible. As you said very well, my brother. We are lacking, and this is something that is a epidemic situation within our community. We lack unity because one guy is Rastafarian, another one is this, another one is Christian, another one is Muslim. Man, we are all human beings. Let's all come together, screw all this nonsense. At the end of the day, we are here on earth to make this earth better. Because when we are gone, our children and grandchildren will be taking care of this land after us. So let's make sure we stay united. With our differences, we don't have to all be the best of friends, but let's work together.
Well, that's the beauty of Rastafari. We won't, when we come now, we won't be aligned to any particular nation, any particular group, because we are claiming all of Africa, you know, because we were taken out from all over Africa. So whereas our let us say our throne is Ethiopia, because that's where our father has risen up, you know, and so on. But we can live and we can claim any part of Africa, north, south, east, west. We're gonna chase we're gonna chase out some of the white man down, especially down in South Africa. We have to do that because they're holding back our progress. Then we're gonna chase some of the Arabs out of North Africa because they too are despising us and are carrying out racism against the black people. So we're going to have to chase out some. Then we're going to have to chase out some of those religions, like, for example, the Catholic religion that has to come out of Africa. Our original ancient African philosophies that existed long before Jesus Christ, that existed long before Catholicism, those are the original mother of all religions. That is what we are going to be bringing to the fore, and that is what Rastafari means.
Absolutely. But my brother, if you allow me to interject here.
Yes.
You see, this mindset works, but the pragmatic is here. I understand the whole approach, but I believe the way, because this is the beauty of African man, black woman is the following. It's this resilience, its capacity to, from the shit you give me, I turn it into a flower. So we are empowered, regardless of whatever type of struggles and oppressions that might be occurring currently. We are more powerful than ever, just because we are more educated, we are more aware. So the point, in my opinion, is not even chasing is cool. We can do that. But you already know, fire causes fire.
Mm-hmm.
So if we are ready to go to this kind of mindset, we're going to lose a lot of time. I don't believe in the Nelson Mandela philosophy. I believe that philosophy was actually non-progressive. However, I understand that, okay, the dynamic is the following. Some people who are white, calling themselves South Africans, that's been this way for centuries. It's going to be difficult for these people to even find a home elsewhere. That's where they live. Fair enough. But indeed, things have to be channeled differently. Also, us have to believe in ourselves enough to know that we are entitled. We are deserving what we are pretending to want to own and possess. And I believe that inclusivity without assimilation, but we must be inclusive, because this is the beauty of our people. We are always welcoming. But if you fuck up, pardon my French, then we teach you the lesson. But I believe the future for our continent, the African continent, which is the land that, in my opinion, more than ever, is now in the future.
Yes. All right.
Required for our scholars.
Sometime I have put a little close on the language based on our license over here. But yes. But you said, but I like what you said in terms of the Mandela the Mandela pathway that he chose. We tend to like, I don't know if you're familiar with the Steve Biko pathway, whereby Steve Biko
would have been interesting.
Steve Biko made it clear that, look, you have had 100 years of white rule in South Africa. He says now the black people must get 100 years of black rule. Not mix up, straight black rule. You have 100 years of white rule. I must get 100 years of black rule. And at the end of my 100 years of black rule, if at that time we can see, if at that time you feel you can work with me, then at that time now we might have the synthesis, and therefore we work together. But I need my 100 years of black rule to restore the balance. How do you see that?
But Virgin, I agree with you. I agree, but I believe it's already happening. Because think about it. We are more than ever structuring ourselves, organizing ourselves, our vision.
Yes. We need time amongst ourselves. We can't have the enemy in the room. The same man who raped my mother, and me and you are discuss progress. We can't have that. You have to be out of the room and allow me to organize my house, ain't it?
But Brethren, allow me to say this. The very brothers that will stay within the room, some of them will be the very brothers betraying you from that room.
Yes.
So it's no longer a matter of this is the situation. I understand the philosophical approach and the historical meaning behind what you're saying and the necessity of it. But because we live in a world that is now global, that is now more inclusive, that is more mixed, the only way for the progress that you are visioning, that you are talking about, to really be long-lasting and really penetrate each and every household is to make sure that you come with this concept that is, in my opinion, very, 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 and absolutely connected to Rastafarianism, which is love. You give love, Bridget. You understand? And love doesn't mean it has to be all flowers, but it's love in its absolute form. It's like, I acknowledge you. You've done wrong to me, or your ancestors have done wrong to me. But nonetheless, as you said, let's organize ourselves first. Then we will allow some of you to enter, those who are worthy, because it is time for our people to reign. But I believe it's coming, brother. I believe it's coming, and I believe it's coming in such a beautiful way that look at now, we have the opportunity. I'm in Europe, we're in Jamaica, we are speaking over the airwaves.
Yes.
We have this
live and direct. You're speaking to thousands of Jamaicans who are listening at the moment. You want to send in a special greeting before we close?
I would like to, first of all, thank you, brethren, for this opportunity. Tell about great sister Shauna.
Yes.
For introducing my work to you and to the beautiful people of Jamaica who I have to say I cannot wait to connect with on a musical level.
Yes.
And beyond. And I have nothing but love, respect, and wishes of continued blessing for all my Jamaican sisters and brothers.
Well, your agent, your sister Shauna, I'm certainly by next year she more than likely will get you on Rebel Salute. Rebel Salute had some Africans this year, and Rebel Salute is one of the biggest comprehensive show. It's it's a show that goes to the root of reggae music, and it's certainly one of the best shows in the world. So I'm certainly more than likely, if not next year, certainly in the near future, you'll be here. Plus, we have other shows that some fest and all of that.
It will be an honor to be invited to any of these shows and be able to introduce myself and my work and my creativity and bond and come together as one. That is the point, and that is the main goal of my musical journey. So I'm really looking forward to it, my brother.
All right, we're gonna play one of your songs. If you could hold on a little and listen to this one and give us an idea how it came about. This one named Defeat.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Defeat. Make we play it that our listeners can hear your standard, and then we chat a little after. Let's play some of it there, Mr. Engineer.
They say never miss the water till the well runs dry. Right now, good loving's gone, and I know you want to try, but there's no need. I just got cold feet. There's no need. They just let me breathe. And I never thought I'd do this, baby. Never wanted to go through this, baby. There's no need. Just accept defeat. There's no need. Baby, just let me be. You was chasing. All this time we spent was wasted. Money found was Don't try to win my love with fancy things. Don't need your money, flowers, clothes, and diamond rings. All that I get from myself. That love I'll get from someone else. Never had the strength to do this, baby. Never wanted to go through this, baby. There's no need to sex and TV. There's no need, baby, let me be. You always chasing. All this time we spent was wasted. Money found this boy forgetting. You know that love is fading.
Yes, my brother. Explain that song to us. Yes.
Yes. Well, I mean, this song is obviously my repertoire is rather large, and this is one of my latest projects that just came out in February, the 22nd of February to be precise.
This one just come out. All right.
This one just come out. Yes, it's featuring Stacey Iman Charles from St. Lucia, and the song is about.
Oh, it's go again slowly. You're in collaboration with who?
With Stacey Iman Charles from St. Lucia.
Okay, right here in the Caribbean.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
Stacey Charles.
The song is about empowering women. You know, it's about empowering the sisters and making sure that they don't settle for something that is not on their level. You know.
I see.
That really is. It's about empowerment.
All right, empowerment of our sisters, and Saint Lucia. You speak French patois?
I don't actually, but I understand a little bit of it, just a little bit, because it has French words, of course, so I can make up some words.
In Saint Lucia, they speak French patois more than any other language.
That's true, and she's mixing some of that French patois in the song, actually.
Yes,
which is good, because even she referred to me. We had an interview together some weeks ago, and there was not enough of that patois used within popular songs or some more mainstream songs, which was good that she did, given the collaboration with me. And I said that because this is what I do. I worked with an Asian artist by the name of James Germain, who's probably one of the most amazing singer from Haiti. I have worked with great artists from Burkina Faso who are reggae artists. Yuba. My obviously to my to my Jamaican brothers and sisters out there listening, make sure you go check out my work, because I've worked with so many different people and so many different sounds, and this one is definitely one of the latest ones, which I'm very proud of.
All right, very good, very, very good. So again, to remind our listeners, we're speaking with Brother Bowdy Satva, and he's present. He's speaking to us from Lisbon. Lisbon is in Europe, capital of Portugal, and he's actually from Central African Republic. And because you have performed all over Europe, Bowdy.
Yes, I performed mostly. I performed in America. I performed in the Caribbean. I performed precisely in Martinique and Haiti.
Okay, and those are more
in Africa.
Yes. Oh, you performed in Martinique and in Haiti.
Yeah. Yes.
That's nearby.
Very, very nearby indeed. So it's just a matter of time until the stars align and I can come finally to Jamaica.
Yes. All right. Very, very good. Nice. Well, my brother, glad to have you on the program and so on.
It has been my honor and my pleasure.
Which other song that you would recommend that we play?
I would say there is a song that I did with an artist, Jamaican artist based in the UK.
Yes.
The song is called Enemies. It's about
enemy.
Enemies. The title of the song is called Enemies.
Enemy.
And it's featuring Rohan Silence.
And it is with Rohan Silence?
Yes, with a T, Silence with a T at the end. And it's also one of those songs to combat negative energy.
Okay.
It's about
it's hold on. It's energy. Enemy. I see. Enemy. Mm-hmm.
Enemy of progress, enemy of life, enemy of evolution.
Oh.
Song to combat those kind of people. Yes, the message is very strong.
Mm-hmm. Enemy. All right.
It's one of the many songs that you guys could listen to.
Okay. My brother, great honor and pleasure to have had you. Thanks for the time. Thanks. It's about what time there now? It's now 9:15 in Jamaica. 9:15.
It's 2 a.m. this side, 2 a.m. in the morning.
2 a.m. in the morning in Lisbon, Portugal. Right. I understand there's a lot of Africans in Portugal.
Oh, a lot, my brother. From Angola, from Mozambique, from Cape Verde, from Sao Tome. Yes, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And do they teach their children there how the armies of Amilcar Cabral and his brother Louis Cabral in Guinea-Bissau, how they defeated the mighty Portuguese army and got their independence?
Of course.
Is that mentioned in Portugal?
It is. They are educated about it. One thing that I have to say that is good is that they are not like the French when it comes to these kind of things. They are very open about the conversation. They may not like it, but the children are educated about it.
It's one of the greatest military victory of all time, you know.
It is.
It's greater than any of Napoleon's exploits. It's greater than any general you can name exploits, because the population of Guinea-Bissau is smaller than the army of Portugal. You can imagine?
It is. But you have Mozambique as well. Mozambique also did a great job.
And Mozambique defeated them too. Yes.
Mozambique, yeah.
Yes.
But hey, my brother, it's amazing how things move. And it's also amazing how the unity now between our people is starting to really rebuild itself. Because for all these years, it's sort of like watered down a little bit. But I think now, everything is aligned for, all of us to come together. And we just have to continue pushing.
All right. That's a good way to send out the sound and the signal. And we want to link with you and see what can be done that we can start having brothers and sisters going home to the Central African Republic.
Blessings.
Blessings.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
And give thanks for your time and everything. Give thanks. Blessings.
My pleasure.
One love. Nice. Give thanks. Nice. For those who just joined in, we had the honor and privilege of speaking to. He's an artist, he sings and so on, he DJs. His name is Bowdy, Bowdhi. Bowdy, Bowdhi. Sattva, Satvah. In other words, you can look him up on the internet. You can link with him on the internet. And like you hear the conversation, he's from the Central African Republic. This is a country that is in the Central Africa, just like it says. If you look there, you'll see to the south, the Congo, to the east, Sudan, to the north, Chad, to the west, Cameroon, central. It's a landlocked country, but a very, very rich country in terms of minerals, gold, diamond, timber, all sorts of minerals you have there, with a population of just 3 million people. Jamaica could have fit into this country more than 20 times, brothers and sisters. You know, and small population. So, you know, when we talk about repatriation, these countries need us. Give it some thought. Gonna play one of his other songs now. Mr. Engineer, you have that one ready? Go ahead.
Keep on them. Alright, working and I make my money. And them a try stop my flow. But mine is overly active. And them a try stop my flow. When they see my enemies, people just let them know. The Lord is my guide and shield. Each and everywhere I go. Sit up on me name like cheer. Passing your mask, things that me care. When them a send check draw near. Tell you all of them say I got me fear. Get up and I watch and steer. Want see me drop like beer. You see it? A long time me here. Now me look and see everything clear. You see them? Enemies, want me go under. Parasite, want me go under. Bad mind, want me go under. So me left them sit down and a panda. Enemies, want me go under. Parasite, want me go under. Bad mind, want me go under. So me left them sit down and a. Alright, bad mind want see me stop. Hypocrite want see me drop. Yeah, them no want see me out a road and drive a Range Rover. Don't see a fi me that. Them sit up on me things and grieve me. But now me I beg them to leave me. Cause anyhow me lose my sanity. Anyway me catch them me now free fi squeezy. Alright, enemies want me go under. Parasite want me go under. Bad mind want me go under. That's why me left them a panda. Enemies want me go under.
Yes, I do apologize for some of the language, both when he was speaking and even in this song here. I do apologize for any some of the language which may have come out, you know. As you hear as we go along, that there are some persons, especially when they speak several languages, they don't seem to realize that there are still some words in some languages that are contrary to our broadcasting license here. So I do apologize. All right, we move now to Empress, right? Princess Love, and she, as usual, praise Jah.
African. Heal the king with Empress Menin. Surely you get your blessing when you hail the king. Yeah. Oh, hail the king now. Yeah. Hail the king, come make we hail the king. Heal the king, come make we heal the king. Heal the king with Empress Menin, yes. Heal the king, you better heal the king. Heal the king, you better heal the king. Heal the king and get your blessing, yes. Heal the king, you want me heal the king. Heal the king, you want me heal the king. Heal the king, what a joy it bring. Jamaican people, them a heal the king. Kingston people, them a heal the king. Down now Westmoreland, them a heal the king. Manchester people, them a heal the king. Mandeville people, them a heal the king. Jordan people, them a heal the king. Hanover people, them a heal the king. St. Mary people, them a heal the king. St. Anne people, them a heal the king. St. Thomas people, them a heal the king. St. Catherine people, them a heal the king. St. Elizabeth people, them a heal the king. St. James people, them a heal the king. Heal the king, what a joy it brings. Yes, heal the king, you have to heal the king. Heal the king, you have to heal the king. Heal the king, what a joy it brings. Heal the king, you have to heal the king. Heal the king and get your blessing. In a Arar, heal the kingdom in a Somalia. Heal the king. In a Cape Town, heal the king. In a Kenya, heal the kingdom in a Zimbabwe. Heal the king. In a Ghana, heal the kingdom in a Tunisia. Heal the kingdom in a Algeria. Heal the kingdom in a Angola. Heal the kingdom in a Liberia. Heal the king. Heal the king with Empress Mary. Watch it, Congo people. Heal the kingdom in a Morocco. Heal the kingdom in a Tunisia. Heal the king. Watch it, whole wide world just a heal the king. I see the Chinese people. Heal the king. Japanese people. Heal the king. Down in Europe. Heal the king. Germany people. Heal the king. Italian people. Heal the king. Down in Hungary. Heal the king. Heal the king. What a joy it brings. Yes. Heal the king. Come make we heal the king. Heal the king. Come make we heal the king. Heal the king with Empress Mary. Yes. Heal the king. They want to heal the king. Heal the king. You want to heal the king. Sang embassy, heal the king. Artist from embassy, heal the king. Sang embassy, have to heal the king. Heal the king and get your blessing. Yes, sang embassy, just heal.
Yes, greetings, Princess Love.
Yes, greetings.
One love, man. You cover so much countries in Africa, healing the king, and we just had a brother from Central African Republic.
Yeah, listen to him, man.
And him telling you that we have a Rastafari community there. And, you know, anywhere Rastafari is, we are healing the king.
True.
And you covered quite a little bit of countries healing the king. Zimbabwe, South Africa, Kenya.
Ghana, Somalia.
All over Tunisia, everywhere you said they are healing the king. Nice.
Yes, all world.
Give thanks. Now, coming up on the 9th, Saturday the 9th is your wine festival. Yes. Talk to us about it. How is the preparation coming along?
Oh, preparation started from Monday. We started working very hard on the premises. I'm working hard on the wines, getting them properly looking nice, ready for proper tasting, but better quality, best quality. Looking forward to have a lovely evening, having lovely packages, yes, and gifts. Gifts in terms
so that will be on what date is the festival?
Yes, the 9th, and we're going to start at 6:30 sharp.
6:30 in the evening.
Until everybody ready to leave. We won't leave till everybody leaves.
All right, beautiful. And you want to name some of your wines that will be available?
Yes, we're going to have 7 to 8 different wines. We're going to have Guinea and wheat, Guinea and Moringa. We're going to have cashew. We're going to have stinking toe. We're going to have beetroot. We're going to have taro. Yes, we're going to have sugar cane. We're going to have ganja wine. And we're going to have some pepper with molasses wine. And we're going to have molasses wine by itself.
You know, I hear a doctor say, a doctor whose views I respect, a medical doctor, saying that a small bottle or a small glass of wine daily is good for the kidneys.
Kidneys, yes.
Yes, I didn't know that at all. You're aware of that? They said that a little glass of nice fruit wine is good for cleaning the kidneys.
Yes, for the cleansing. Yes.
Yes. So your wine can do that?
My wine for the kidney, flushing the kidney.
Yes. I don't know flushing, but them said it helped clean the kidneys.
Well, we have the cashew. The cashew is very good. It has glucose.
Yes, so that is good for the kidneys.
Yeah, and the sugar cane as well. Sugar cane is great.
But before we go any further, I don't want you to finish me without this young man. It couldn't be done without Moogie. Could we talk to him on three-way?
No. We don't have that facility. When we finish, you can link with him. You can put him on and we talk to him also. But tell us some more. You are the person in charge and so on. And you're the one that has won how much gold medals?
Yes, I have 10 gold. All right, this is 5 gold.
So you have 10 medals?
5 gold.
5 gold.
3 silver.
3 silver.
And 2 bronze.
2 bronze. And this was given to you by who?
2017 and 2018 by the JCDC, the Culinary Art Competition for best quality in wine taste.
JCDC means?
JCDC, yes.
Yeah, well, what it means? What does the words JCDC, what does that?
Oh, Jamaica, culture, development, cooperation.
I see.
Yes.
And
yes,
they are the ones responsible for the festival annually.
Yes, every May, May.
Yes. And they have awarded you gold medals for your wines.
For my wine, yes.
Beautiful.
Best taste, good taste and quality. And they are the one who recommended to be upgraded.
And now this launching now is to broaden your shoulders across Jamaica.
Right, yes. Going straight up to the sky like an eagle.
All right, and therefore you must be thinking of expanding and going abroad, eh?
Yes, certainly waiting on those offers because some offers been coming along to make wine for persons.
Yes. So you need to be sending out your containers of wine to places all over the world.
All over, yes, especially in my country here too, to our country people.
Yes.
Yes,
Well, just remember Best FM when you go into your riches.
Wow.
Yes.
How could I forget you?
All right.
But look here, I cannot forget Moogie. His number is 789. Please.
Who is that? Who is that?
The young man who makes it possible for me, Moogie, Muggy.
Is he there beside you?
No, but I had to tell you his number. He needs to speak on his side. He's working so hard with me. 787.
Yes, what's his number?
787.
787,
Yeah. 9797.
9797. And his name is Moogie.
Moogie, Muggy.
Mm-hmm.
He does all the typing. He goes all around, makes all the phone calls. He does so much things.
Yes.
He just falls into place. He's supposed to be my distributor next.
All right. Very good. Well, we appreciate that. And we'll make every effort to speak to him. So thank you, my sister. Blessings, and we hope everything come off well on Saturday.
Yes, I hope so. I'm going to do my best, prepare my best.
Well, not just to hope. In fact, we're working towards making it a success.
Right. I'm looking towards some fermented tambourine as well.
All right. Blessings, my sister.
Blessings.
Nice.
Blessings on Saturday.
All right. Then so ask a little more of Hail the King from her.
Yeah.
That Sister Princess Love there.
But we can play the other one there with the Rasta man.
Yes, we come in the Sister Princess. We come in there. We have to try to get Brother Moogie. The program is stepping up. Right. All right then, my sister. So we'll keep in touch with you. One love.
Yes.
All right.
Love.
Very good.
All right, Moogie.
African.
Hail the King with Empress Menin. Surely you get your blessing when you hail the King. Yeah. Oh. Hail the King now. Yeah. Hail the King, come make we hail the King. Hail the King, come make we hail the King. Hail the king with empress many, yes. Hail the king, you better hail the king. Hail the king, you better hail the king. Hail the king and get your blessing, yes. Hail the king, you want me hail the king. Hail the king, you want me hail the king. Hail the king, what a joy it bring. Jamaican people, them a hail the king. Kingston people, them a hail the king. Down now Westmoreland, them a hail the king. Manchester people, them a hail the king. Mandeville people, them a hail the king. Portland people, them a hail the king. Hanover people, them a hail the king. St. Mary people, them a hail the king. St. Anne people, them a hail the king. St. Thomas people, them a hail the king. St. Catherine people, them a hail the king. St. Elizabeth people, them a hail the king. St. James people, them a hail the king. Hail the king, what a joy it brings. Yes, hail the king, you have to hail the king. Hail the king, you have to hail the king.
Greetings, Brother Mogi. Blessings, my brother. Give thanks. Princess insists that we speak to you. She said you have been working very hard to make this event a success.
Yeah, man. Holy for something I don't mean, man.
Yes. So how it's shaping up? Looking like something that people should come?
Of course, man.
And prepare to spend?
Yeah, man.
What are they to expect when they come?
All right. I have different craft vendors and all of that, man. We have Mart essential oils is going to be there. We have...
When you say essential oils, like what kind of oils they'll be selling?
Different herbal oils, lemon oils. We have different mixtures. If you'd be the best person to tell you about that, you have to come and see all of that, man.
Yes, So you can get essential oils. What else you can get?
Yeah, man. Different craft products, you know.
Craft products?
Yeah.
That means you're talking about red, gold, and green beads, thumbs, belts, and all of that, necklaces?
Bracelets. For different crafts, man.
Beautiful,
and
beautiful.
Of course, the main attraction is the wine, of course.
The main attraction, the wine. Will there be performances and so on? Will you have some artists performing, poetry, speaking, and all of that?
All of that. You have to come and have...
No, but we want people to come. If they don't come, they won't see. So you have to give them an idea what to come to see. So you're going to have singing, poetry, and so on. That's all I know.
Yeah, man. We have local artists from the campus who are exposed. We have talent coming from off the road. We have Junior Costa supposed to be coming in. We have Yana, Young Empress. She's going to be performing. And a host of others. We have Maverick as a poet is going to be there. Yeah, man.
And what about some of your guest speakers that you'll be having? You want to tell their names?
Yeah, man. We'll have Dr. Kadama with Nice.
Who is a lecturer at the University of the West Indies, yes?
Right. Yeah. Holy for...
Who else you having?
We'll have, of course, you'll be there.
Yes.
From Miguel Line. We'll have Mullings from JCDC. She should be there.
Who? What's her name?
Mullings.
Miss Mullings from JCDC. She'll be there. All right. It'll be interesting to hear what she has to say. Yes.
Yeah, man. Of course.
And I think Dr. Jalan and Naya will be there too.
Right.
Right. And certainly Dr. Michael Barnett will be there also.
Right. He'll be there as well.
Yes.
Dr. Michael Barnett.
So what if doctors will be there, eh? What about some of the humble people, them?
Yeah, man. You'll have an open section. And of course, we'll have others who are from the community and who are close to Princess. And, they'll be coming and sharing about, the wine and the experiences around the journey.
All right.
Of course. Yeah, man. It's a family event almost,
Family event, so they can bring children, young ones, and so on to be there.
Well, of course, enjoy themselves and yes.
All right. And you'll also have ital food and so on. Natural food will be served that people can buy and eat.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
And nice, clean music for everybody to enjoy.
Very good music. Nice, brother. Give thanks, blessings, and we'll keep in touch.
All right, and of course, it's at the University of the West Indies Rastafari Study Center, that's 22 West Road.
Yes, repeat that again, that people know exactly where it is.
Right, it's at 22 West Road.
22 West Road, and that's on the university campus.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's near the medical complex.
Near the medical center. So if they come to the gate and ask the guard, make sure that you let the guard know that an event is taking place at 22 West Road. So as anyone come there and ask him, he can direct them how to reach there, eh?
Naturally. And we should have signage once we reach into West Road. You know, yes, so we'll be all right.
All right, my brother. Blessings, give thanks. I'm glad that you could join us.
Yeah, man. Give thanks to the contact. So keep up the good work, you know?
Yes. Have to.
All right.
Have to.
All right. Yeah,
nice.
Man.
Thank you, my brother.
All right. Take care.
Yes. There you have it. So please turn up, support Princess Love in her quest to establish her wines and herself. And the song that you hear being played, Hail the King, that is Princess Love. She is also an established artist and performer, sings very, very well.
Your love is for the meek, blessed and unrighteous, and that's why I put you first. Cause man is incomplete and you are our compass. Please guide over us. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, in the middle of the jungle, big, big trouble. Where's the north and south, eastern and western road? Oh, Jah, save me from my inner tears. Oh, Jah, save me from my foolish fears. Oh, Jah, from the snakes and the bears. Guide me through these trying years. Oh, yeah, yeah. Na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Your love is for the meek, blessed and unrighteous, and that's why I put you first. Cause man is incomplete and you are our compass. Please guide over us. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, in this jungle we not sure we're safe to explore, but please don't ignore the sound of the dragon roll. Yes, Jah, the eagle is on the rise. Oh, Jah, dressed in his fullest guise. Oh, Jah, spreading pain and lies wherever he flies. You see, your love is for the meek, blessed and unrighteous, and that's why I put you first. Cause man is incomplete and you are our compass. Please guide over us. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Oh, some people will never find a place with space and a peace of mind. Walking around so blind, and an emotional bind. Yes, Jah, I know that your time is near. They know I still neglect to hear, but you alone we fear. We're ready for the Gideon, so we're not scared. Your love is for the meek, blessed and not righteous, and that's why I put you first. Cause man is incomplete and you are our compass. Please guide over us, oh,
Yes, greetings and blessings.
Greetings.
And we're speaking, we have spoken of Sister Paulette.
Yeah.
Paulette, one of our stalwarts over there in Mandeville who recently passed, and that her send-off took place last Sunday. We're now speaking to one of her daughters, who we constantly refer to as one of the twins. But let us know your name, so that's at least, instead of saying one of the twins all the time. Your name is?
People do call me Flair still. They call me very Sarah, but they call me Flair.
They call you?
Flair.
Flair.
Yeah.
Flair, all right?
Right. Yeah.
So one of the twins now will call you Flair.
Okay.
Talk to us about your mom.
Oh, wow. She's just like a free spirit, powerful lady. She was always there no matter what. She'd give us her, if there's any, her last meal, if there's any, she'd go hungry just to feed us. She was our confidant, she was our best friend. She was a leader as well, a natural leader.
Mm-hmm.
And so really spiritual, and she just had this oomph about her, and she would light up any room. Any room, she would light up any room. Her laugh, she was down to earth. She would play a game of cards. She would love to join different groups, that like to encourage people. And she was just that kind of woman. And I just, right now, I think about her every day, because
one of the things that impressed me about her is that she never yet come to a meeting. And if she doesn't have her children, she has the grandchildren.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she's such a family person. I know she really loved us, and she really loved her grandchildren a hell of a lot. She was like our main, like anytime we were going to go anywhere, she would just be there saying she would watch them for us. That's what she was like. She never complained. It's a great loss, because anytime I want to talk to somebody, she was there.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime.
This group that I saw at the funeral, what they call Israelites, what their full name is? What their
IUIC.
What their name?
Israelites United in Christ.
Oh, Israelites United in Christ.
Right. Yeah.
Israelites United in Christ.
Yeah.
I see. So that's what IUC.
She was a cultural lady as well. So she joined different groups and stuff. So So she's she's for the people. So that's kind of lady she was. So yeah. But,
and that group is in Mandeville, based in Mandeville.
Well, they're all over the country, really. They're all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But she would know, a bit more. But she's all over. They're all over the country, really, at the moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but small. Yeah, she was just
She was also part of the Mandeville. She was one of those helping to organize the corporation in Mandeville with regards to the cannabis license and recognition for Manchester. Isn't that so?
Right. Yeah. Like I said, she liked to uplift the people. So even in regards to that as well, just wanted to see people uplifted and be able to set up their own business, do something for themselves, to me.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, it seems like them groups, started calming down. I know they're still going as well, but there's a lot of, things are taking a bit longer than first anticipated. But, that kind of thing, wherever there was a group where there's opportunities for the people, she was there. Basically.
She was in England. You all were in England for a while?
Yeah.
You yourself were born in England?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then she returned to make her contribution to Jamaica.
Right. Yeah. Yes, she did. Yeah. Yeah. She.
All right. So, Flair, we thank you. We thank you at short notice, and we will always remember her and for her outstanding work towards the Black liberation.
Right, yeah, and thank you very much as well, because I know that she was a really good friend of yours as well, and I know that you've worked together really well, and I know that you're going to miss her too, because
Oh, yes, I do.
The kind of lady that she was.
Yes.
Right, and she's going to be a great, great boss.
Powerful Black African.
Like
yes.
Powerful, right, powerful, very powerful.
Nice. Thanks a lot.
Amazing spirit.
Yeah, that is true. Yes, it's never say die spirit.
Yeah, definitely that. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Thanks a lot, my sister. Blessings, and we give thanks.
Yeah, I'm blessings to you and give thanks to you too.
All right.
Okay?
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Nice.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Give thanks. All right. Now, I was giving you some facts on Venezuela before my brother from the Central African Republic who lives in Lisbon. Now, Venezuela and all these facts and things that I'm giving you comes from, whether it's from the Latin American and Caribbean organization, United Nations, World Bank, and so on. Now, Venezuela had 100% free student transport. The government, 100% subsidy for student transportation in Venezuela, right up to 2016, 2017, brothers and sisters, before the outside interference. Students would travel free on the public transport in Venezuela. Up to 2016, 3,000 social program buildings were established in poor communities to increase government assistance in health, education, basic services, and security. They would give 75% reach in public low-income housing maintenance programs. These are things that they had. Now, in 2016, female life expectancy rose to 78 years in Venezuela. In other words, women, the average age that women would live in Venezuela is 78 years old. Also, in 2017, the World Health Organization acknowledged that Venezuela has the second highest rate of primary health care assistance in the world. 2017, WHO, what many like to quote, acknowledged that Venezuela has the second highest rate of primary health care assistance in the world. Public health care is 100% free for the people, and over 90% of the population have easy access to healthcare facilities. By 2017, 13,372 public healthcare facilities were opened to the general population. So right up until 2017, not only had they an extensive healthcare program, but it was a free healthcare program. So when you see these things on television now and I'm showing about people dying from medicines and all of these things, brothers and sisters, it is because of the actions of the very same people that is accusing the government of not providing for its people when they are the ones that are sabotaging the country, retarding the country's progress, and doing everything to hold back the country. Those European countries, America, and some of those, the Lima group in Latin America, doing everything to hold back this progress, started by Hugo Chavez. And you know how well they hated Hugo Chavez. They hated him to the core, especially when he went to the United Nations and he went up to speak at the podium of the United Nations shortly after Bush, the president of America, had spoken. And when Hugo Chavez went up to speak, he said, "I can still smell the sulfur of the devil that was here," referring to Bush. And America has never forgotten that. They did everything to try and overthrow him. And the same military that is standing up with Maduro, some of those same military tried to overthrow Hugo Chavez. And the people were the one who says, no, you can't overthrow somebody whom we have elected to run this country. And those military personnel, they just pushed them aside and put in back their president. Those military persons were on the pay list of the United States when they tried to overthrow Hugo Chavez. So what they're doing to Maduro now is something they started with Hugo Chavez in trying hard to overthrow the Bolivarian Revolution, which is named after Simon Bolivar, one of the outstanding leaders of Venezuela. Now, Venezuela has the largest oil reserve in the world. Venezuela's oil belt has been certified in 2011 by the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, as the biggest reserve of black gold in the world, with 302.2 billion barrels estimated to last 200 years. Venezuela is also the second largest reserve of coltan in the world. Second largest reserve of coltan. Coltan is what you use in the cell phones. The largest, the predecessor of the largest, is the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Africa. Venezuela is second. But in terms of oil, they have the largest, certified not by Venezuela, but by OPEC, the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Now, Venezuela has held 20, let me get that right, 20 electoral processes in 18 years, all with over 80% participation. Right? So let us start from the year 2000 up to 2018. They have held 20 electoral processes, and all of them have over 80% participation. That means 80% of the voters went to the polls. In other words, the Venezuelan population has a very high political awareness, showing their democratic fervor in what is called in Venezuela participatory and protagonist democracy. Now, let our people understand this now. The last couple of elections in Jamaica, there are some elections that the last one, I think we had just a little bit over 50% of the people that were on the list to vote, a little over 50% went to the polls. The elections before that, that's general elections I'm talking, less than 50% went to the polls in Jamaica. So we are comparing now. Here are the elections in Venezuela, over 80% participate in the democratic process. And in Jamaica, we have had elections where less than 50% go to the polls. Now, which country would you say is more democratically inclined? Which country? The one that has a participator of 18% or the one that has a participator of less than 50%? So when they come and give you all these strange behavior and talk about there's no democracy in Jamaica, I mean not in Jamaica, in Venezuela, they have a higher level of democracy than we have here in Jamaica. I said the man Fire K come in. He's a man we always heard the film program. So I'm going to make sure, but I have to give you some more facts. Now, Venezuela. In 15 years, Venezuela lowered its child mortality rate from 20.2% to 12.9%. They lowered from 20.2% to 12.9% per 1,000 births. They are one among the lowest world child mortality rate. What that means is when, in terms of babies, both when you're born and when you're young, Venezuela has one of the lowest children dying rate in the world. Shortly after a child born, let them die, they have one of the lowest in the world. Now, when it comes on to children nutrition, Venezuela has the world's 4th lowest rate of child malnutrition. In 2013, the rate of child malnutrition was just about 3.4%. So we're talking about children getting enough food to eat on a daily basis. That was what Hugo Chavez was using the oil money to do, to make sure the poorest class of people got good education, good transportation, better housing, and also they were getting food, which was reducing the hunger. All of this. So you talk about, so if a socialist state is guaranteeing that its people eat, if you want to see, I don't even like the word, but for you to understand, homeless people. I don't know if them do have no home or so. Some of them do have no home. Some of them don't like go shelter and all them places there and so on. If you want to see a lot of homeless people, visit some of the cities in America. Yes. You know, I forgot New York. Forgot go under the subway all during winter time. You don't want to do that. You just have to go to Florida nearby and walk the streets. I mean, I thought just black people alone, you'd be amazed the amount of white people in Florida live on the street. Because you heard Florida now, it's a true Florida, there no snow and them things that them can live under a tree, on the roadside, them can live over in the park, and so on. This is something where anybody who left here and go there and pass through, this is something you see. Homeless, hungry people. It's bad enough when it's a man, but to see women, devastating in America. So when them did they criticize Venezuela and so on, maybe they need some socialist policies. Who knows? Probably people that might vote for Bernie Sanders, because him say boy from long time say he's a democratic socialist. So it'll be interesting to see how it go. Now, hear this now before Man Fire K come in. And we're going to play just one song before. Right, just before I mention this as the crown us off. Yes. Right. Hear this now. And tell me if this makes sense to you. In 2005, Venezuela was awarded by UNESCO. No found in Jamaica love quote the UN and quote UNESCO and UNDP and World Bank and Red Cross and all them type of people. Well, me I quote it back tonight. In 2005, Venezuela was awarded by UNESCO. Special award given to Venezuela for reaching 100% illiteracy target. No, literacy target, sorry. In other words, they wiped out illiteracy and they reached 100% literacy. In other words, people were now literate. In 2005, UNESCO certified that Venezuela was 100% literate. I don't know about the statistics for enough of these other countries where I fight on Venezuela. They were able to wipe out illiteracy by 2005, brothers and sisters. So it's consistent. A literate population will turn up at the polls to make sure they elect the government that they think. In Venezuela, right up until them a fight down Maduro now, public education is 100% free to the people. 100% free public education. It is the country with the 5th highest rate of university matriculation in the world. 5th in terms of university students graduating, In the world, may I talk about them was the 5th. In 2016, 30% of students in private tertiary education institutes were receiving free government scholarships. Now, that sounds like a done set of people. That sounds like the country was running the way the Americans and CNN and BBC and all these people have been behaving. This is the progress of the country that they want to turn back. This is the progress of the country that they are now doing everything to think. And in wrapping up now, Jamaica has joined with those who is against Venezuela, because in the country going through its crisis, you are seeking to take over Petrojam and to take over the shares that Venezuela have in Petrojam and pay little or nothing for it. You are therefore a traitor. This Andrew Holness government is a traitor to the people of Venezuela. Yes. You don't treat your friends like that in hour of need when they not only make oil available to us. Look at all the countries that Venezuela assisted with the Petrocarib. Let me give you their names. Antigua and Barbuda, Belize, Cuba, Dominica, Grenada, Guatemala, Guyana, Haiti, Honduras, Jamaica, Nicaragua, Dominica Republic, St. Christopher and St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Suriname, all those countries, not just Jamaica alone, all those countries, Venezuela gave them oil at a rate that was cheaper than the world market. And on top of that, Venezuela gave extensive credit. So you get the oil and you get it on credit. What more you could have want in terms of your development? And in this hour of your crisis, you know, so much of these same Caribbean islands have jumped ship that the Haitian government went to the OAS and voted against Venezuela. And the people of Haiti said, look, we're not going to stop demonstrate until we get rid of this government because you are traitors. You all are corrupt. You use the Petro-Carib money to enrich yourself and it don't benefit the people. So brothers and sisters, don't just jump on the wagon and join. You look at the facts, you look at the statistics, and if there's anything that I have said, you all can check it out to see for yourself. A country with 100% literacy, why you would want to interfere? Why you would talk foolishness about all options on the table? A dunce like Trump is going to talk about options on the table. What I'm doing, go school, go learn. And it have the whole Congress now showing him up. Him lie with consummate ease. It's belittling. And to know that such a person, because they have the US power behind them, is talking about the possibility of invading Venezuela. So this week, Caribbean delegates wanted to organize a meeting with the US representative concerning Venezuela. The US representative canceled the meeting. Them don't want to hear the CARICOM position of non-interference. No, them have them plans. Remember, you know, it's not all action are done overtly, you know. Some things are done covertly. Give thanks. All those who were able to join us this Wednesday, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining in. Bitter Sugar, Best FM, as we move to establish Best FM as the #1 station in Jamaica. Bitter sugar. Sugar cannot be sweet for us in no way. So avoid it, and you'll be amazed how much more years you'll be adding on to your life. Give thanks.
I'm a man of the night, where I was, as a discipline. I'm a man of the night, where I was, as a discipline. Where I was playing with lions, tigers and elephants, and animal panchana. I'm a man of the night, where I was, as a discipline. I'm a man of the night, where I was, as a discipline. And in the teaching of the ancients of days, man know thyself, raise strong and no one else. You're in destruction of my father's keeping church and loss. I need them around the west.
The views, opinions, and statements which were expressed in the just concluded program are not necessarily the views of the management and board of Best 100 FM.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone I ever met. You're simply the best.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
From Monday to Friday, 5:30 to 6 p.m., Universal Church brings you a program for a new beginning to uplift you physically and mentally. Listen to the program Showdown of Faith on Best FM, brought to you by Universal Church of the Kingdom of God, 141 to 143 Maxwell Avenue.